Good morning for Monday Morning Motivation with Chris and Ash here.
Yeah.
Once again, appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to give it a couple of minutes for folks to tune in, but I think we have probably a subject matter today that I think probably everyone can relate to in one way or another.
Yeah.
Dealing with insecurities and some tips on how to deal with those insecurities and how to continue doing what you need to do with your keto or carnivore journey, your weight loss journey, your health optimization journey, whatever it is you are trying to do, and how you can handle insecurity, and not just tips for handling insecurity, but ways of looking at insecurity that make you recognize it for what it is. So
very powerful stuff.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really good. This is stuff that, Ash and I talk about quite a bit with doing this kind of stuff. And, I will just preface today's entire thing by saying, I am a human being just like everybody else. And I have my own insecurities, and I have all of my own shortcomings and my imperfections, and I am susceptible to feeling all of the same feelings that anybody else does, and feeling not worthwhile, and feeling like I'm struggling, and looking in the mirror and thinking that I look fat, or all of the different things that anybody else can go through. I'm as susceptible to that as anybody. And I think especially Ash and I talk about this a lot for my personal experience, especially because being a YouTuber, you not only feel all of those things, but you also have a platform where people find ways digitally to reach out to you to try to prey upon the fact that you feel those things. And they try to find ways to use those insecurities as a pressure point to twist, whatever it is they can get their hands on to try to cause pain and anguish and, just be harmful, because there's just nasty, hateful people out there. And that's what they do. And so we're going to talk about some of the things that I do, and that Ash and I have, as we have grown the channel, and as these things have gotten bigger, like, what are the things that I do to deal with the potential of insecurity that could come from, people who choose to make me the focal point of their hatred and their anger, and what is it I'm doing. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a preview of that. Like, I've had people that they use the email contact form on the website to try to get to me. After I block them on the YouTube channel, they'll start sending me, contact form emails, because you can't really prevent people from doing that. So there's all kinds of different ways people love to just try to reach out and get to you, and do that kind of stuff. And so, I do things like, I don't read those things anymore. And I know that they still get sent to me, but I let them get filtered out before I ever take a look at any of that stuff. So those kinds of people just don't actually have any time to have any way to get that info in front of me to try to cause me harm. And so I've just worked with the situations we have to, put things together where people just can't get to you to cause that sort of pain. And basically just means they're wasting their time. So the joke's on them, because they're just clicking on my website and giving me more clicks on the website for things that I don't actually end up even having to look at or read. So they just waste their time and then help me get some ad revenue. So, but we're going to talk about some things. What can you guys do in your daily life, just like I'm doing there? It's just one example of ways that you can set yourself up to be successful with your insecurities. And as you try to make yourself more successful, what can you do? So, anything to add to that before we say hello to some folks?
No, I think we'll have a good talk this morning. Excited to see everyone. I do have a fun question. It's the day after the Super Bowl. So who watched the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Did you have any fun low carb snacks while watching the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Put it in the comments below.
Yeah. Did your team win or lose?
Are you mad today? Are you pretty happy?
Are you in need of significant amounts of motivation because you're depressed from the outcome of the game? What's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
So,
let's say hey to some people.
Let's say hey. Jolene is here, says, hi, gang. Happy Monday. Hello, Jolene. We are so glad you're here. There is my mom waving from ISS. Good to see you, Mom. Auntie is here, says, good morning, Chris and Ash and everyone. It's good to see you, Auntie. Lynn is here, of course. Hi, Chris, Ash, and all. Blue skies and tons of sunshine here in Indiana. Loving it. Yeah.
Oh, man. It's cold here, Lynn. It's like 36 outside right now.
It's like 36. It's kind of gray here today. So,
gross.
Yeah, I'm jealous of your blue skies and sunshine today.
It's awesome, though.
Our sweet friend Lynette is here. Good morning,
Hi,
Lynette. It's good to see you. Tanya is here, says, happy Monday morning, CCN family.
Hello, friend.
Lewis Stone is here. Howdy, all y'all. Hello, Lewis.
Howdy.
Lewis put a very cool post in the private community, talking all about, kind of like some of this sort of stuff, like insecurities and negativity, and like how he can like tune this kind of stuff out and do what works best for him. Thought it was really cool. Thought it was very inspiring. So if you guys don't know, we have a private community where we do extra things, extra support, new recipes, like behind the scenes, all kinds of fun stuff. And there's a bunch of great people in there.
A lot.
And one of the things we're talking about with these insecurities is going to be surrounding yourself with people who can support you and keep you motivated and keep you feeling positive. And that's what that community is for.
Yeah.
That's why we have that community. So I have it. You'll see it scrolling down across the bottom of the screen down here. Right there, chriscookingnashville.com. You guys go to chriscookingnashville.com and you can join the band and you can come over and be a part of our private group, and it's growing.
Yeah.
And we have more stuff going on in there all the time. I can't even keep up with like all the members posts half the time because everyone's in there sharing really great stuff.
It's awesome though. It's a great resource for sure.
Yeah. And just like Lewis, you can go in there and you can give your tips and your tricks of, well, here's what I do that keeps me stable. And not only are you going to get support, but you just might help change somebody else's life doing it. So that's why we do what we do. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Sherry is here, says, good morning. Fully rested since getting up before the crack of dawn yesterday. Slept 9 hours last night. Woo! Oh, that is a good feeling, Sherry.
That is a great feeling. Awesome.
Gotta love it. Addicted to Antlers is here. Good morning, all. And there's Rockin' Keto Amy. Hi, everyone. Hi, Chris and Ash. Good to see you, Amy. Another one of our members, Stephen Stone, is here. Good morning, y'all, from Corpus Christi. Good to see you, Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
Janetta Cummings is here. Hi from Madison, Tennessee. Well, hello to you, neighbor. You are not far from us.
You're just down the road from us.
That's right.
Good morning.
Carnivore K is here. Good morning, all. Good to see you, Aunt Kay. Risa's Cluttered Kitchen is here. Hello, Risa.
Hi.
I love this name every time it pops up. Never Too Much Coffee. Woohoo! Made it.
They need to meet Auntie.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
You and Auntie are cut from the same cloth, I do believe.
Absolutely.
Robert Hanna is here, says good morning.
Hi, Robert.
And there's our buddy Caleb from Caleb's Carnivore Quest. Hello, Caleb. It's good to see you, my brother. If you guys don't know who Caleb is, Caleb's Carnivore Quest, he is a 16-year-old carnivore and has quite the story. So if you guys don't mind, go over and subscribe to Caleb's Carnivore Quest because he is doing cool stuff. And we need more youth in the space. We need to have more people that are younger like that are being out there and public about using keto and carnivore to change their lives, because when younger people start doing it, other younger people start to listen a little better.
Yeah.
And if we could really make an impact on the youth of the world, imagine how much 20 years from now the health of the world could be changed.
Oh, drastically.
Absolutely. So it's a really cool thing Caleb's doing. So it's good to see you, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie is here, says hello, everyone.
Hi, Carrie.
And there's Cindy DeManch, says, good morning, everyone. I did not watch the Super Bowl. I'm not a sports fan. Well, Cindy, let me tell you a secret. Neither am I. I barely remember even what teams were playing, and I did not watch.
We don't pay attention.
So more power to everyone who did. But I just personally, I just don't care.
Yeah.
Jennifer is here, says, I never watched the Super Bowl anymore.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I love this. Auntie says, superb Super Bowl. Who made the most baskets?
Right.
Love it.
Oh, man.
Purple Lovin' Nana is here, says here, sorta. Well, we're glad you're here, sorta.
We understand.
Yep.
We're not done with our coffee yet, so we're really not here either, like fully.
Yeah, we're still working on that.
Give it some time.
Still working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Carrie says, did you hear about the octopus who stopped printing? It ran out of ink.
That's cute, Carrie.
Love it. Rockin' Keto Amy says, I had the stomach flu yesterday and fasted all day, and I slept through the Super Bowl. Well, Amy, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, but I hope you're doing better today.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. There's a lot of stuff going around right now. So.
Yeah, there's like 3-4 viruses or something.
Yeah, it's really wild. So.
It's wild.
Tanya says, no sports here in this house. I was making bacon all evening for the week.
And that's why you're my friend right there.
That is a great thing to be doing.
Yes.
Auntie says it is 31 and clear and freezing there today.
Ooh, that is cold for you, Auntie.
That is very cold.
Yeah.
S. Diamond is here. Hello from New Jersey. Hello, S. Diamond. Good to see you. We're so glad you are here. And Risa said, I did not watch the game, had to work, came home and made Tyson wings of fire, no discernible fire to me, and put cold cuts on hero bread instead of sub for the family.
That sounds awesome.
That's fantastic. I
love that.
That's wonderful. That's great. Everyone's saying hello to everybody. Sherry says, I ate CCN crackers and cheese and tried Dustin's white keto chaffle in the dash. Nice. Yum, 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 especially with cinnamon. I did watch the game, even though I'm not a sports ball person. Love it.
That sounds awesome.
Those crackers and cheese sound awfully good to me.
Hey, speaking of your crackers, it kind of goes in. So we're going live tomorrow night for Backstage with Chris. What are you going to be making?
Yep, we're going live tomorrow night, and I'm going to be using the cracker recipe, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to use it to make little miniature buns, and I'm going to do a cheeseburger appetizer, like little miniature cheeseburgers, and show you guys how we put those together. Great for a party, great for a get together. I know it's after the Super Bowl now, but it would have been good for that. But I'm going to show you guys how to put together like little bacon cheeseburger mini appetizers. And
I've never been more excited.
Yeah, they're going to be awesome. They're going to be super, super fun, and those are just going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff.
So tomorrow night, 6 p.m.
Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Backstage with Chris live right here on Chris Cooking Nashville. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
Lynn says it's only 28 degrees here, but all the sun makes me happy as I freeze to death.
That makes sense. I get that.
I love it. Caleb says it's 17 degrees there.
Ooh, that's cold, my friends.
Cold. And this is Stacy, who just joined the band last week. Well, Stacy, I am glad that I know your username on here now, and we are so glad you were part of the band.
Yes, welcome.
And I sent you a welcome message in there. I don't know if you saw it or not, but we were so happy that you were a part of the band. So, guys, if you're looking for community, Stacy right here can tell you she joined the band, and I think we're a pretty cool group of people over there with doing some fun stuff.
We're fun. We're interesting. Fun. There's never a dull moment. I'll tell you that.
Yep, absolutely. Also, all of the band members have seen a picture of one of the recipes, not that's coming out this Saturday, but that will be next Saturday. So not like 5-6 days from now, but like almost 2 weeks from now. They've already seen a picture of the experiment that's going on, getting ready for that recipe video. So band members like that get extra early previews of things, and they can start doing things like getting their ingredients ready and all that kind of stuff, because I like to share with my band members what I'm working on behind the scenes, and showing them what we're having for dinner, all kinds of stuff. So S. Diamond says, I made your carnivore mashed potatoes, and wow.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoy them. I love that recipe, and it is just a lot of fun.
It is.
Holly says, good morning. She is here hanging out with us. Good to see you, Holly. Cindy says, I did read that the halftime show was horrible. Yeah, I've heard a lot of criticism about it.
Yeah.
So it's not my style of music, so I didn't watch it, but it wouldn't have been something I would have been into just style-wise.
I don't think, to be fair, I think it's just opinion, because I've heard some people said it was awesome, but I think the opinions, like when it comes to things like music or whatever, like don't ask the country artist what she thought of a Kendrick Lamar, whatever his name is, rapper. Like, it's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, we just don't watch stuff like that, so.
If they would have brought out Alan Jackson, my butt would have been in front of that television. That's all I'm going to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think the last time I watched and cared about a Super Bowl halftime show was probably when Aerosmith did it. I was in high school. So you know, it's just, unless it's someone that I really care about, I just kind of really don't care.
People, different opinions, all okay.
Yep. My mom says, I only watch the Super Bowl for the snacks and commercials. Yesterday's snacks, all keto and carnivore. Cajun shrimp and sausage skewers, blackened steak bites with remoulade, and bang bang chicken wings.
Sounds really good.
Fantastic. By the way, guys, how many of you out there think my mom should do some recipe videos for some of the things that she creates? Because she does keto recipes, and they're stupidly good. Like, if y'all want to know where I first started learning to cook, it was from her. You know, and I've gone kind of my own route with it, you know, in recent years. But way back in the day, I started learning how to cook because my mom is a great cook. You know, my dad's great with like smokers and grills and all that. My mom is great in the kitchen. Like, who wants to see some keto recipes from my mom? Maybe I could work with her and get some keto recipes out there for you guys. Or maybe at some point in time, if she ever had the chance, she should start a YouTube channel of her own.
Pam, he's putting you on the spot.
I am putting you on the spot because I think she should be sharing all of these amazing things that she does. I think people would probably like to see it. But if you guys would like to see it, put that in the comments that you would like to see some recipes with my mom. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
Absolutely. She says also braised pork belly and smoked cheese dip with CCN tortilla chips.
Come on now. Yeah. Braised pork belly. Are there any other words? Wow.
Sounds fantastic.
I think Miss Mel would like to come say hi. Come on, baby.
Oh.
Come here. Come on.
Come on.
Come here. Come here. She's like all confused.
Come on, you big fur covered tub of lard.
She kept trying to get up on my lap, and I was like, really now?
Yep, right now.
Right now.
Right now. Yes.
We were out at the park this morning. We've had a busy morning.
Yes, we played fetch. We've had breakfast. We've had a busy morning so far, haven't we?
Let's see. Can you turn Mel? Can you say hi to everybody?
Say hi to the people.
Can you say hello? Good morning.
Say hi. There she is. Goodness gracious.
Goodness gracious. Y'all didn't know we had a lap dog, did you?
That's right.
Yeah.
Risa says, still working on my coffee, a little morning fog still. No sports in our house except during baseball season. News and Pluto TV. Love it.
That's awesome.
Love it. Jackie is here, says good morning from cold and rainy the Pacific Northwest coast.
Ooh, I bet it is cold and rainy.
Woo. Auntie says, I decided to watch Chinese dramas all day yesterday.
Ooh, fun.
Hey, you know?
Yeah.
If you if you enjoy it and you just make it happen, that's all you got to do.
You see your dog smiling back
there? I see her.
Okay.
I see her.
Back here now.
Big goober.
Oh.
All right. Dog. All right. Yeah, there's a lot of fat going on there.
A lot of fat. Oh.
Lynn says, baby cheeseburger mini appetizers. I'm in.
Me too, Lynn.
Yeah, these are going to be really good.
He literally told me that's what he was doing, and I was like, no, really?
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Here's the deal, guys. You can be keto and carnivore and still have fun finger foods. Like, there's nothing about the concept of keto and carnivore that says finger foods are wrong.
Right.
Like, if you take your steak and you cut it into pieces, it's technically finger food now. So, you know, unless you're taking big hunks off of the raw side of the cow, you know, you're already in culinary territory. So you may as well make a mini cheeseburger appetizer if you want.
I'm in for it.
Yep, it's going to be fun. Jeffrey Cox is here. Beautiful people, he's calling us. Jeffrey, you are fantastic, my friend, with a $4.99 super chat. We appreciate you so much. That is so kind.
Thank you.
Another one of our band members says, good morning, beautiful people. Celebrating a patient just now who promised me if it didn't have a mama, I'm not eating it. Listening, but not in real time. That is fantastic.
Wow.
Jeffrey and I have had this conversation a couple of times because he shared some different things that he's had go on with the patients that he works with. And, you know, we were talking about this, and he had someone who I believe, as he said, it was his boss that has started into like this keto carnivore journey now and all this kind of stuff. And they tasted something that I think it was maybe like a birthday cake. They took a bite of it just to see if their taste buds have changed after a few weeks they'd been removing sugar for a long time. Then they went carnivore for a few weeks, and then they wanted to taste a bite of birthday cake to see if their taste buds had changed, and they did, and they said it tasted disgusting.
Wow, that's
They were
crazy.
like, it's amazing how much my taste buds have changed. And he said it was such a celebratory moment of your taste buds are learning and changing, and you're getting healthier, and it was really cool. And I told Jeffrey, I said, see, this right here, this is how we change the world one plate at a time.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. You guys do all this. You take the recipes or whatever other tools you find. You make yourself as healthy and stable on a keto or a carnivore diet as you can be. And then you go teach other people. Dr. Barry says to do this all the time. Like, take what I'm showing you and go teach someone else close to you, because that's how we get the change to actually happen. And that's why we do what we do, is we just want you guys to take this info and go out and share it and just change the lives of the people around you.
Yeah.
Change the world.
Absolutely.
One plate at a time. That's what we do. Jeffrey, thank you so much, my friend. We appreciate that. You are a rock star. Jackie says our church had a Super Bowl party. Chili and chowder cook-off. Hub's Chili won.
That's
right,
awesome.
rock on. My keto chowder was second runner-up. Not as great as it sounds. There were only 3 chowders.
I also noticed that it's Super Bowl.
Yes,
has an S-O-U-P.
Super Bowl. That's really great.
That's cute. That's cute.
Really, really great. And there's Stacy saying she's loving the band community.
Oh, well, we're glad you're
That's
there.
awesome. We're so glad you're there. Let's see. Sherry says, mini cheeseburgers, cool, because I am a pro with your crackers. Yeah. And here's the thing, like if you wanted to do these as chicken burgers, if you wanted to do them as little miniature club sandwiches, if you want, like, you could literally do this however.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you guys how I'm doing it. So it's really cool, but you can make this little mini sandwich appetizer thing however you'd like.
It's really cool. I'm excited.
It's going to be a lot of fun. All right. And Jeffrey Cox says the band rocks. Join it now. Thank you so much, Jeff. We really enjoy getting to hang out with you guys in there. It's awesome. AZ Cowgirl is here, says, hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Brenda Foley is here, says hi from Louisville. Hello,
Hi,
Brenda.
She's so sweet.
Stacy says she saw Aerosmith in concert back in the 80s.
Well, we're not jealous.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive in the 80s, and I wish I was, because that was a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have loved to have gotten to see Aerosmith in concert. So.
Yeah, Steven Tyler's awesome.
Jackie says, I was going to use your CCM potato salad cubes for the chowder, but read through the comments on the video and your insightful comments. Thanks for being such a good communicator. Well, you're very welcome. Yeah, the potato salad cubes that I use for my potato salad recipe, they do go well in a soup, but you have to add them right when you serve the soup, because if you leave them in there, they start to get mushy, because the egg white powder in it absorbs liquid. So if you want to do that, you have to add it right before you serve it.
Kind of one of those things where it may look like a cubed up potato,
but it doesn't work the same.
Yeah, it doesn't actually react the same. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
Lynn says we need recipes from my mom.
Well, if Lynn says it.
Yeah. And Keto Amy says, I was going to ask Mama to do the bang bang chicken.
Because that sounds delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Brenda says, me.
Oh, that's funny.
Jay is here. Absolutely would love to see some of your mom's keto recipes. Awesome.
Hi, Jay.
Stephen Stone says, I saw a TikTok of Ted Nugent playing the Star Spangled Banner on a street corner in Austin. It was far better than the halftime show. Well, Ted Nugent is a pretty awesome star.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So,
yeah.
Cindy says, yes, please, mom's recipes. And Jackie says, bring on the bang bang chicken.
Yeah.
Jeffrey says, bring on mama. I think the votes are in.
Yep.
Carrie says, yes, Chris, your mom needs to do videos. My dad was the one that got me in the kitchen at 13. When I was in South Carolina, I watched Emerald to learn to bake and attempt to recreate, and was successful. That's awesome.
So cool. That's awesome.
Holly Springer would love to see Mama cook in Nashville's recipes. Cindy says, "Aw, Mel, big old lapdog."
That's her.
And my mom says, "I can share recipes. I'd love to do that."
Well, there you
See?
go.
There we go. There we go. Let's see. Amy says, I just made pork belly for the first time. It was amazing. Yeah, pork belly is incredible. As long as you make it right, it is amazing. If you make it wrong, which it's not hard to make, you just have to know the right information to make it right. If you make it wrong, it can be a little chewy and hard to get through.
Yeah.
But if you make it right,
it's best. Good. It's so good.
RM is here, says, good morning. We muted the halftime and we all broke out the acoustics and funned around.
That's fun.
That's fantastic. Love it. Sherry says yes to recipes from the mama and hello to Pretty Mill. Caleb says, I didn't even know the Super Bowl happened.
Good for you, buddy.
There you
Good
go.
For you.
There you go. Let's see. Caleb says, yeah, I'm not a huge golfing fan.
There you go.
Love it.
Oh, that's funny.
Everybody's just kind of saying hello and talking here. My mom says, if finger foods are wrong, I don't want to be right. I hear you.
Feel that.
Holly Springer says, Amy, I love the air fryer pork belly. I made carnivore bites yesterday with leftover bacon and bacon grease. I'm calling it my carnivore crack.
Oh.
Love it.
I love the name. That's funny.
And Caleb says, one of my friends has told me if all else fails, I should be a linebacker, which he told me was the big dude to tackle. There you go.
That's funny.
Lewis says, I use your waffle recipe, cut strips of cooked ribeye and put it in my corn dog cooker. Yummy.
Oh.
Catch the rest of the show on replay is calling. That's really cool.
That
I love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that.
Let's see. Carol is here. She says, hi, y'all from the Florida Panhandle. Hello,
Hi,
Carol. Caleb says, I'm going to go to the gym today and I'm going to see how much I can deadlift on a straight bar. Sweet
dude. Awesome.
Go put in that work, man. That's awesome. Jackie says, question. Here's a suggestion for CCN Brilliance. Beef Wellington?
Ooh.
So, Jackie, I have actually had the idea for beef Wellington for a long time. It's very hard to figure out a carnivore version of pastry. But I'm not giving up. I am working on it. I have a few ideas, and I don't know if any of them will work, but I'm going to see what I can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see. Cindy is correct. She says, Caleb, you will succeed at whatever you want to do. Amy says, I saw Aerosmith at Notre Dame in the 90s. One of my favorite bands. My husband and my song is Sweet Emotion.
Oh, that's so awesome.
I love it. I think it's
cool.
super cool. Caleb's talking all about jujitsu and arm wrestling. He's got a bunch of physical activity passions there. That's awesome. Let's see. Tanya's saying good luck to Carrie because he's headed out, I believe, to do some door dashing. Cranky Carnivore Cutler is here. John says greetings from bipolar Tucson, where we need the heater in the morning and the AC in the evening.
Sounds like Nashville.
I understand. And John, I sent you an email with those YouTube resources we were talking about. So hopefully you got that. Hopefully that'll be helpful for you.
Yeah.
Chili Harder is here. Go, Mom. Even though I'm in a different time zone, I would set the alarm to wake me up in the middle of the night to see Mom's magic cooking.
Aww.
That is a huge endorsement for people's willingness to see her cook right there.
Right there.
And let's see. Carrie says, hitting the like button a trillion times +1. Yes, guys, please hit that like button, that thumbs up for us. We would appreciate it so very much. Just helps us out a big bunch. S. Diamond has a question. Anyone heal their migraines with strict carnivore? I'm ketovore now 4 years. Should I cut dairy? So that's a great question. So I have experienced migraines from time to time my whole life. And I will tell you, now I'm not like a chronic migraine sufferer, but I do get migraines. And I will tell you, if I have something that has too much sugar, too many carbs, any of that kind of stuff, the times that I've had some cheat meals since I went carnivore, when I do that stuff, that's when I tend to get headaches, is somewhere around there. So when I go really strict with my carnivore, it definitely helps. And I don't know if dairy necessarily is the issue for me or not. It could be for you, but usually if you're having weird things that carnivore just doesn't seem to want to address, a lot of times it's connected to the dairy. You know, now I'm not a doctor and we don't do any medical advice here, but if I were in your shoes, just based on my experience, I would try going like 30, 60, even 90 if you can days without the dairy, and then try adding it back in a little bit and see what difference you notice. Because if you go strict as an elimination diet and then you add it back in, you start to recognize when things really affect you, because it just cleans everything up and it makes it much easier to tell. So that's what I would suggest you give a shot, and let us know how it works for you. If anybody else has any ideas about migraines or experience with migraines, please drop that in the comments for S. Diamond. Maybe you can give her some help.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be awesome. Holly Springer says, Cranky Carnivore, South Carolina this time of year is air during the day and heat at night. It's been nearly 80 degrees this past week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wild. She also says, S. Diamond, I used to have horrible migraines. The migraines stopped when I went keto.
Oh, good to know, Holly. Thank
Cool.
you. Yeah.
John got the email. Awesome.
Sweet.
Carrie says, I cut the dairy out of my life, grew up drinking whole milk, and that was okay. When I was living in the house with my great aunt, when she was alive, she wanted to drink the cow paint, the 1% and 2%. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, if you're going to have anything dairy, the full fat is always best. Yeah, but
go all the way.
Yep. Caleb says, yes, I never have migraines anymore. I've had migraines for years. I used to get them a few times a month. I haven't had one in over 200 days. That is awesome, brother. Rock on.
Very cool.
Rock on. Jujubee is here, says, good morning. Good morning, Jujubee. We are so glad you're here. Carrie says dairy gave him sinus issues and then he stopped dairy and it cleaned up and helped when he stopped that. So yeah, so that's another thing. If you guys are dealing with sinus issues, you might consider taking the dairy out. I know when I don't have dairy, sinuses are better. I don't get the junk in my throat as much, like all that kind of stuff. I love dairy and it's so hard to give up. But the times when I cut it back or just get rid of it entirely, I do a little better. So I can't deny that. Keto Simple, Dustin is here. Good morning, all you lovely and amazing people. Good morning to you, Dustin, my lovely bearded friend.
He's a wonderful man, isn't he?
He is a great man.
He's the best.
Cranky Carnivore Cutler, I still get optical migraines, but whereas they were 100% followed by a cry in the dark, quiet place pain level, they are now pain-free. That's really cool. So it's like, even if there's still a thing there, your body can handle it better.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, maybe it doesn't make things perfect, but if it makes it better and you can deal with things, like, go for it. Like, that's fantastic. It's one of the things that's so great. And it's one of the arguments that I think some people make about keto and carnivore is like, well, you know, if you're dealing with blah, 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 and you do keto or carnivore, it's not going to make it just go away. Like, you're still going to have to deal with some things. So why even bother? And it's like, but if it makes it more minimal and it's manageable, like, isn't that a good thing? And isn't that worth doing? Because if you can manage whatever's going on in your body by having, you know, a cleaner diet, keto or carnivore, rather than taking a bunch of medication, isn't that a smart thing to do? Yeah. So, yeah. Awesome. Juju says 60 last week and expecting 6 inches of snow tomorrow. Yikes. P.S. Ash, my tomato babies are an inch tall. Happy birthday to the baby plants.
Yeah, baby plants. I can't wait to have some of Jujubee's tomato babies. They're going to be good.
Yes, absolutely. Awesome. Let's see. Dustin says is back to being in the 20s here in central Indiana. And Juju's about to slice up breakfast casserole. Just pulled out of the oven for lazy breakfast this week. Homemade pork loin sausage, eggs, egg whites, onion, and cheese. That sounds amazing.
That sounds really good.
And he has a great question. Do you consider butter as dairy on carnivore? I consider butter to be dairy on carnivore only for people who have the highest sensitivity, because butter is made by taking cream and agitating it, stirring it, you know, churning it, whatever, blending it, whipping it. And then what happens is all of the butter fat molecules start to bind together and they start to expel the water around them, which is the whey. When the whey goes, most of the dairy goes with it. Now, there's a little bit of butter solids that have a small amount of lactose. A little bit, but most of the protein and the whey in the whey, the protein and the carbs are in that whey that comes off of the butter. So there are trace amounts of protein and lactose in butter, but it's very, very minute. So only for the people who have the most severe issue with dairy does butter seem to be a problem. So if that is one of those things where you've cut out all the other dairy and you're still using butter and you still seem to be reacting, cut out the butter and see if it makes a difference. Or try ghee, which is clarified butter, where the last of the solids have come out. For me, I don't consider butter dairy because I'm not sensitive to that. I do really well. Dairy might stall my weight loss or even make me gain if I just, you know, go way too much with the dairy and I have a bunch of cortisol going on. But it doesn't cause me any other issues. But now if I go with a whole bunch of like cheese and that kind of stuff for too long, like I get some itchy skin and some things like that. But I don't have any like real severe sensitivities to it other than some of those things. When I cut the cheese out, though, and I have the butter, all of that stuff goes away. No liquid dairy, the cream, all that kind of stuff. All of that stuff goes away. So I try to limit my dairy as best I can. And, I enjoy it in recipes from time to time, but I just try not to make it a daily thing. Mm-hmm. And I do really well. But butter doesn't seem to bother me at all. But there are people out there that are super sensitive to it and they can't have it.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You have to experiment because everyone's like a little bit different. Maybe it's a different for you, maybe it's not.
Absolutely.
But that's kind of why experimenting with stuff is so important to do. So that way you know for yourself what works and what doesn't. N=1
experiment, like Nisha always says, and everyone is a little bit different. You just got to figure out what works best for you. But for me personally, I don't really think of butter as dairy. I think of cheese and heavy cream and that kind of stuff. That's the stuff that I think of as dairy because there's so much lactose in it that I can just tell the difference. So if I'm making a recipe, I tend to use dairy. If I'm not making a recipe, I just try to stay away from dairy. So eggs, butter, sardines. That's what I had yesterday for breakfast. Beef, chicken, pork, bacon, those kinds of things. That's what I try to stick with. And I just try not to add things like cheese and cream to it most days.
Right.
So Jackie says, I filled up on carnivore and keto options at the Super Bowl party, but then accidentally went way off the rails when someone brought in homemade fudge, then ate just a grip ton of sugary crap. Jackie, I get it, and this is the thing, like when you go to those places, like those things are so easy to just eat a whole bunch of stuff. And once you it's kind of like when you really have to pee when you go out and you're drinking. Once you break the seal, it just seems like you just keep having to go, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same thing. When you start eating something with sugar, you break the seal. And now it's like it almost gives your mind permission to go ahead and allow yourself to have it. And so then your brain doesn't want to let go of that idea. It wants to keep eating it and stuff. And it happens to the best of us from time to time.
Yeah.
So,
just, go right back to doing what
That's
you
right.
should. And
go right back to doing what you should and just say like,
good.
If it was worth it, cool. No judgment. And if it wasn't worth it, then just go, okay, next time, how do I not do it?
Right.
And that's a you decision and just whatever whatever means the most to you.
Yes.
And Risa says, butter is carnivore. It's from a cow. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Jackie says, it wasn't even good splurge items. I'm talking bad grocery store cookies. I ended up feeling awful, refluxy, painful, BBB and E today. Well, and
there you go.
And that's the thing. So it's, this is a thing. And this is why this is a journey. You do something like that. Now start taking the time in your mind to attach eating those things to those negative outcomes. And the more you do that over time, the easier and easier it gets to say no, because you keep being reminded of how bad you're probably going to feel after. And that's the thing. When we do all of that and we just focus on the immediate gratification of that hit of sugar, even if it's the cheap junk, we just have the hit of sugar. Our brain is addicted to that. And that's what we associate with eating sugar. The bad feeling later on, it's like in our minds, we separate that as two different things. So what do? We take pills to try to make that go away or whatever it is we do to mitigate that. But then we go right back to eating the sugar because the only thing we think about the sugar doing is giving us that high. Right? But when you are aware of this and you've gotten clean and you have it and then it causes something doesn't normally happen, now in your brain and your psychology, you can start attaching that to the negative feeling of I eat this and this is how I feel. And it starts making it easier and easier to say, do I really want to do that? Because this is what's going to happen. This is the negative thing that happens to me when I do that. I'm really going to choose to do that. And if you still choose to do it, you're an adult and you can do that. We live in a society where we're free to do that. But then it makes it a lot easier for you to say, I don't think that that's really worth it. That high is not going to be better than the low I'm going to feel after.
Absolutely.
And that's what helps us break that addiction. So, Jackie, no judgment. I think we've all
been there.
Right? I mean, I've told you guys the first time I did keto and then I went carnivore, I didn't deal with my addiction issues. I went back off the rails for like a year, and it was not good.
No,
it was not good. So I'm not perfect and I don't try to be perfect. I just do the best that I can. Sometimes I have some keto items, every once in a while I have a cheat meal. But that's what makes it stable for me is to understand how I'm living my life and I'm working on this like an addict. And this is the thing, people who, like you're fat, you're this, you're that, whatever it is they're trying to use to judge all of us for, they're not thinking about the fact that it's like This is a lifelong journey. This is a process. This is you have to figure out how to stay stable and make it work for you process. Because if you don't do that and you go back off the rails and you relapse, relapsing is one thing. Relapsing, going on a huge bender for months or years at a time, and maybe doing permanent damage to yourself because you're binging on stuff because you didn't handle it all properly. That's two very different things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, this isn't a race. It's not how fast can you lose weight, how fast can you get healthy. It's how stable can you become in being healthier.
Yeah.
That's our goal. So
Progress.
Jackie, you are a perfect example of someone who is going through the process and learning as you go, and rock on, sister. You're doing great.
She's killing it.
Yep.
Progress over perfection.
And thank you for being bold enough to come here and share that you did it. Like, don't hide it when you do it. You know, it's okay.
Own it.
Yeah, own it, and just, it is what it is. There's no morality in whether you chose to eat the cookies or not.
Yeah.
Like, we don't deserve to be beaten up if we say, yeah, I shouldn't have eaten that and I felt bad. Okay, cool. That's as objective as we need to be about it.
Right.
Juju says, Shauna, is it dairy? Yes. Is it carnivore? Yes. Isn't it better than heavy cream? Also, yes, dairy was. Absolutely. I totally agree with Juju on that. So. And there's Cindy being a rock star. Here's Dr. Barry's videos on migraines. Perfect. Yeah, that would be a great resource. That would be a great resource. Absolutely. Cindy says, last night we had healthy noodles brand spaghetti with homemade meatballs topped with Skyline chili, onion, and cheddar cheese. Delicious. I love that. Yeah,
that's his favorite. Yeah.
I love Skyline chili so much, and I use my carnivore noodles and do the chili and cheese, and I get to have a carnivore 3-way from time to time. And those are the kinds of things that makes it stable for me. So those noodles have dairy, and there's cheese on top of it. That's one of the meals when I'm like, I'm having dairy, because doing that makes me feel like I can go longer without going off the rails and eating a Skyline 3-way that's actual real pasta when I go to Indiana and visit my parents and I'm up there where I'm, used to eating it. So, figure out how you make it work for you. Stacy says browned butter is so good.
You ain't wrong. Yeah. Speaking my language.
I used to make it at least, usually it was 2 pounds of butter at a time. I would do 1 pound of salted butter and 1 pound of unsalted butter, put it in a great big container and brown it. And then I'd pour it into those silicone molds, and I'd make all these butter bites, freeze them, and then throw them in a big Ziploc bag and keep them in the freezer for her. She used to eat them every day.
Now I just have butter all over the house, and I just go around eating sticks and pads of butter like a weirdo. Right. But
that's the thing, we've done it so long now, I can just eat the butter without it being browned. I like just the flavor of the plain old butter.
Yeah.
But the browned is it's
really good.
It's a great treat.
It tastes like, exactly. It tastes like a treat. So good.
John Weiss is here, says here late as usual, watching it 1.5 times. Well, good to see you, John. We're glad you're here. Yeah. Auntie says, growing up, we got gallons of fresh milk with the cream, put the cream in canning jars, and rolled it back and forth till it made butter. And that's the best quality butter in the world, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Risa says, I love healthy noodles, but cannot purchase them at Costco anymore. They discontinued them over a year ago. No other substitute is as good. Well, that's too bad. Dustin says, thoughts on carrageenan that's in heavy whipping cream? I don't think I found any in store that does not have it. This is a great question. There are so many ups and downs and back and forths and conflicting information videos on YouTube. I honestly don't know what to think. I think cream in general, it's best to have it sparingly when you can. Use it as a treat, but maybe not as an everyday thing if possible. I think the small amount of carrageenan that's in it becomes maybe more of a problem if you're having like 2 cups of it a day. If you're having lots of cream, you're getting lots of carrageenan. If you're only having a little cream, you're only getting a small amount. Now, is carrageenan good for you? Probably not. But, again, a lot of this is kind of like, okay, where are you at and what is your do better approach? Because if you're having a cup of cream a day, having a 1/4 cup of cream a day is better. If you're having a tablespoon of cream a day, having a tablespoon a week is better. If you're having 2 cups of cream in a week and then you can have 2 cups of cream with no carrageenan, well, that's better. I mean, this is a whole spectrum. And I think trying to draw these hard and fast black and white lines about things that we don't really know for sure what it's doing, because there's so many other factors that play into this. It's really hard to know. It's like, is carrageenan hurting me? I don't know. What about the cupcake that you just ate? That's probably hurting you. So is the carrageenan the problem, or is it the cupcake? Or is it the carrageenan made worse because you're eating the cupcake? Or is the carrageenan not a problem and it's only the cupcake? Or is it the carrageenan hurting you and the cupcake is hurting you, and whichever one you get rid of is better, but you need to get rid of both? I mean, how many different shades of gray can we come up with whether something is good or not? I just don't think it's a clear answer unless we can really, really get good, clear studies done. And we all know how difficult it is to get studies of any kind done about these kinds of things, especially when big food companies use this to make their products cheaper and easier for them to transport and preserve, and all the other reasons they use things like that. They use carrageenan because it makes the cream thicker and it whips faster and it does all these things that whipping cream are supposed to do. So does whipping cream need that? No, absolutely not. But it makes it work easier, and so the companies can sell you a cheaper product that will work easier for you, even though it's not the quality of product that would make it work that way. So, if you can find it without the carrageenan and you can afford to buy that, buy it. By all means, get it without the carrageenan. But, do the best you can. Look at everything in your life and go, of all the things that I could change today, is the carrageenan my thing that I need to work the most on? Or is it maybe these other 500 things that would be a lot more impactful and are a lot easier for me to just make the decision to do? It's Dr. Barry says majoring in the minors.
Yeah.
If you're a super, super strict person and the last thing you have in your diet is cream, and you're trying to cut back on cream and you're trying to find it without carrageenan and all this kind of stuff, I get it. If you're still going to the store and buying keto products like keto cookies and keto tortillas and keto bread and all this other kind of stuff, the carrageenan in your cream is probably not the concern. Like it's just not, there's a whole sliding scale there. So Dustin, that was a great question. Thank you for getting me going off on a tangent. Auntie says I use butter in all my coffees.
Yes, we do too.
Yes.
Delicious.
So I take in the morning, I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to do a video on this to show you what I do. But in the morning, I take half a stick of butter. I put it in our blender. I pour our espresso shots and some hot water over top of it. Salt, iodine, a little bit of allulose, because if you guys watched last week, I said I added some allulose back into my diet because that seems to help me break my weight stall for whatever reason. There we go. And I'm losing weight again. Awesome. So I put a little bit of allulose in there. I blend that all up into an emulsification so that it's all creamy and fluffy looking. And then I pour it over ice and use the ice to cool it down, and it solidifies that butter on a microscopic level. So it's a solidified emulsification, and it'll stay creamy for hours. And that's what I do. So I'll do a video to show you guys that, but that's what we do. So we've cut the liquid dairy out of our diet if I'm not using it in a recipe.
It's pretty great.
One step in the right direction. You see what I'm saying? Like just little bits. Risa says I use butter every day. Love it. But I also use rendered pork fat, tallow, and extra virgin olive oil. Yeah, I use butter. I also use lard or tallow. I have some duck fat in the refrigerator. I made the eggs yesterday with some duck fat, and I made a couple of other things for you with duck fat.
Yep.
I've been using that, and once that's gone, I'm going to have to probably go buy another duck or two so that I can have more duck fat, because it's really good.
It's awesome.
But yeah, we'll use any animal fat, and occasionally, I don't do it very often, but occasionally, if it's appropriate, I'll use a little bit of olive oil too. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil. Those are the 3 plant oils that I'm okay using. I don't use them much, very sparingly. But if I'm going to use one occasionally, those are the 3 that I'll use. So Juju says, Dustin, have you looked in the bougie organic health food section? That's where I'll find it, but the price usually jumps way up. Yeah. The grocery store that I shop at is Food Lion right here up the road. They ain't got a bougie section.
They ain't got nothing.
And no bougie sections there.
Nope.
So that's unfortunately. Now, if I wanted to drive to the Publix up the road, or Kroger up the road, or especially if I wanted to go to Whole Foods, I could totally find one, I'm sure. I don't use enough on a regular basis for it to be worth it for me, but that's a great tip. Go look at the go look at the possibility of doing that.
Yeah.
If you're trying to cut the carrageenan out, it's a great way to do it.
Sure.
Dustin says, I had 4 Walmart frozen burger patties today and 6 over easy eggs today, then had my morning coffee. Man, that sounds like a heck of a meal. You're making me hungry.
Yeah.
Auntie says, sounds like I'm a solid ketovore. There you go. Love it. John says, the only thing I made for Super Bowl is a 9-pound pork butt, pulled pork for days. Had pork dip with pork rinds, pork taco with sugar-free barbecue sauce. That sounds great, man.
Man, that sounds awesome.
That's right. Get that pork fat in there.
Yeah.
If you're a person who can handle pork, I mean, because pork is, it's monogastric. So instead of being like a cow that has the multi-chambered stomach, pork has a single-chambered stomach. So some people are more reactive to things like pork and chicken than they are beef. But if you're one of the people who can handle pork, which is, I think, a lot of people, I think it's a much smaller group of people that can't handle pork and chicken than the group that can. Even if you feel better with beef, a lot of people can still handle it. And if you like pork, that's a great way to do it. Get a pork butt and cook that up into shredded pork because you get a lot of meat for cheap. It's a great way to do it. We do that from time to time when they throw pork butts on sale.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dustin says, looked at those two. I'm pretty sure the most expensive I found in stores near me is the Horizon brand, and I think it's in there as well. Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, Horizon does have the carrageenan. You almost need to get something that's more local that only ships to the state that you live in, kind of a size company, it seems. So let's see. Juju says, Friday school had a Super Bowl potluck in the break room. The OM goodness, what restraint comments, LOL. I did partake in one 1-inch square of homemade baklava. It was so good, but I walked right. That's good, fantastic. That's fantastic, and that's a good example of moderation. It's awesome, Juju. Cindy says, Risa, we just found them at our Costco. They're spaghetti style. When I asked our store a year ago, I was told they are a seasonal item. May want to check now. It's a good tip. Maybe that's the deal. Yeah. Holly wants to know, has anyone found goat butter anywhere? I can tolerate goat milk, but not cow milk, including butter. So this is a good example of someone who is maybe highly sensitive to not necessarily dairy as a whole, but cow dairy because of the particular casein proteins that are in the cow dairy. And sometimes if you can't handle cow milk, you can handle goat milk really well because it is a different kind of protein. If you're struggling with butter, you could maybe find goat butter. So might have to find a local farm. That's kind of a specialty product, or maybe like Whole Foods. Yeah. Juju says, by the donuts and crumble cookies and store-bought cake, etc. It was made by an Algerian coworker. I knew it was going to be the bomb, and I wasn't wrong. I felt fine the next day. That's fantastic. And the ability to have just a little and then walk away from it is why it's like, okay, that's not going to probably topple me over the edge and make me feel terrible. And that's awesome. The truth is, I know not everyone can do that. Right. Juju has a significant amount of discipline and self-control to do that because she's awesome. But if you're one of those people that you're like, no way I could stop with one, then I totally get it. Maybe you just have to be that person that walks by and says, I'd love to have it, but I'd never stop. Right. And that's okay. Different strokes for different folks, as they say. Dustin says, the years and years of positive dopamine feedback from awful food choices during our stressful and lowest times stays with us. Learning to be mindful takes a long time. Absolutely. We are completely reprogramming our psychology, our subtle subconscious things we have related to foods. That's why addiction is so hard to get over, because it hits you when you don't realize it's hitting you. So great point, Dustin. Juju says, if I have anything off plan, it needs to be a croissant in France at the Eiffel Tower or a churro at a street market in Mexico. I'll do my best to split it. Once in a lifetime experiences. Yes. Juju, I agree. Ash and I have this philosophy, and I'm not recommending anyone else do this, but this is just how we do this. If I'm going to have something that is not keto, I allow myself to go more keto when we're out sometimes because it makes finding a place to eat a lot easier sometimes. And I don't do it very often because we eat out so rarely. But if I'm going to have something that's not keto, that's like that's off plan, that's definitely not keto, it's definitely not carnivore, it needs to be a super special circumstance and or a super special once in a lifetime opportunity to try something, because I'm experiencing the culture of other people or the location that I'm in a way locals would or something like that. I'm not going to go like get a cheeseburger with the bun from McDonald's if I'm, out somewhere. Like that's not things that are worth me going off plan for. Things that are worth me going off plan are like, hey, you're going to be in Japan and you're going to try real sushi and real soba noodles and things that I can't get in this country. I would totally go off plan for that, experience it, and then I would come back, probably feel terrible, have gained 10 pounds, and then I'm going to go like BBB. It's just what I do, and it's like, and that's a choice. I know it's not good for me, but I'm going to do it because it's a once in a lifetime chance for me to do it. And I want to experience culture. I want to understand these things, be aware of the world around me. And then I'm going to go right back to what I know is good for me.
Absolutely. Also, just throwing it out here. So like I've been to Mexico several times and we all know that Mexican food is a weakness of mine. Mm-hmm. When you go to Mexico and you actually go eat real authentic Mexican food, it is nowhere near as carb laden as it is here in the United States. Like they don't eat chips and salsa all day long. I mean, it's kind of like a thing. So especially when you're outside of the US, I think you'll be amazed at the quality, even if there's carbohydrates and stuff in it, the quality of the ingredients or the portion size or all of that. I mean, it's pretty day and night difference when you get outside of the US and you travel and you go, oh, wow, is this why our country is so obese?
Yeah.
And then, it's just day and night, though, from eating something like that here in the U.S. to then actually going to Mexico or go to France or go to these other places and eat their food. And you go, wow, this is so different.
Yeah.
So
it's also amazing in a lot of places outside the U.S., if you're going to eat carbohydrates, they are made with so much less crap ingredients.
Yes.
Not saying the carbs are good for you, but man, they do not put all the poison in it that we do here in this country. And it's, it's like, I'm not saying the carbs are good, but they're less bad, as Dr. Barry would say. They're less bad when you are places where they're not allowed to put 10 pounds of sugar and a bunch of corn syrup and this chemical and that preservative and this food coloring and that dye and that, like, it's ridiculous.
I saw basically a short video from someone that I watch online, and they were talking about McDonald's French fries. And basically they were saying, like, here in the US, I think it's something like a McDonald's French fry here in the United States of America has like 47 ingredients, which why a French fry needs 47 ingredients is beyond me.
Yeah.
But if you went to somewhere, I think it was actually like France or something, there's like 7 ingredients and you can basically pronounce all 7 of the ingredients in that country. And it's just, it's mind-boggling.
It's really wild.
Yeah.
It's really wild. So Dustin says, Chris, if they were thinking about us as people in the first place, they would not be making those comments. They would get out their pom-poms and celebrate right along with us. Yeah.
True.
And here's the deal. And I do the best that I can to remember that they are people and try to pray for whatever it is that has broken people so bad that their reason for coming on line, going to my website, commenting on my channel, whatever it is they're doing, their whole purpose in that is just hatred. I try to remember that they're human beings and that something has really broken them to a point where they're almost not recognizable as a human being in their behavior. I really try my best to remember that. But I will have to say, even in the midst of trying to remember that, if that's what someone is going out of their way to intentionally try to do to me or any of you, that is the most worthless behavior a human being can have. Like, because it's not even that you have an opinion about something. It is you are taking time out of your day to go intentionally try to find someone to harm. I mean, imagine what kind of a person you have to be and how broken and just miserable your life must be on a daily basis that you are going to take time out of your life. And because you only get a certain amount of time in your life, that is a resource you can never get more of. And you are going to take some of that time away from your life and the things you could do positively to go try to cause somebody else pain. Well, I mean, the only thing that says to me is you think that other person's life is way more important than your own. So you need to take time away from yours to try to go impact theirs because you don't like the fact that they're worth more than you. I mean, that's what really that comes down to. And I'm not the one saying I'm worth more than this person. This person is the one saying I'm worth more than they are. And they're going to take time out of their life to try to knock me down from whatever pedestal it is they believe I'm on, which they've put me on. I'm not putting myself on that. And so they're literally using their own time, the one resource they can never get more of, to come and try to cause pain for me. And I'm just like, I'm completely gobsmacked at the fact that that is what someone chooses to do with their life.
Mm-hmm.
I have so many better things to do with my life than try to go cause someone else pain. Even if I don't like who someone is, you know, I'm as human as the next person. I try to love all people because Jesus commanded I am supposed to. And if you don't share our faith, that's cool, but that's what we believe. I am supposed to love all people. And I do my very best to do it, even when it's really hard. That does not mean I like all people. There are plenty of people that I have talked with online or in person that I'm like, man, I love you because I'm supposed to, but I really don't like this person. I do not want to be around this person. So if I have that much disdain for someone, why would I waste more time in my life to go try to involve myself in their life further and try to cause them pain?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I got better stuff to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's really, it's a weird thing. And this is going to lead us into talking about insecurity here in a minute, but it's wild. It really is. And I totally agree with you, Dustin. If they were thinking about us as human beings, they would be celebrating along with us and encouraging us rather than trying to tear us down.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of goes to show, apparently, we make a lot bigger impact on the world than they do, and their jealousy is overtaking their life. So John says the halftime show wasn't great, but at least the dancers weren't more than half naked as usual. There you go, John.
I get that.
Juju says, Dustin, I'm a regular substitute teacher. Most of the staff doesn't know me like that. My assistant principal often blesses me with a Fresca or a Diet Coke. I feel loved and appreciated.
Aww.
That's awesome. Auntie doesn't know what Skyline Chili is. Auntie, if you come to Tennessee, okay, if you come to Tennessee or you're anywhere around this part of the country, you come over for dinner and I will make you at least the homemade version of it so you can experience what a Cincinnati style chili is. And if you don't have a chance to get here, then we'll see if we can figure something out so you can experience Cincinnati style chili.
It's like Chris's favorite thing. He loves it.
Yeah. Jolene says, can we get any links here that your other channel is sharing? Jolene, you should have access to any of the links on either of the channels. So if there's a link popping up in the live chat, you should be able to click on that link in the live chat. If you see it pop up on screen here, but it's not in your live chat, that's because it's on the other channel. Probably is somehow it was being shared on the other channel, and just switch to the other channel and you can click it. Or if you need any of my links, they're always in the description box. And if it's somebody else's link, you can always go back and watch the replay and that link will be there in the live chat.
Yeah.
So,
great question. Thank you.
Dustin says, I'll grab a can of Skyline chili from Walmart from time to time, mix in an obscene amount of cheese and eat them with hot dogs. That's great. That's Coney Bowl right there. I love it. Juju says, Shauna, I've had it. I wasn't a fan, but I'm not a fan of cinnamon in my meat. It's a meat-based chili, but it has a lot of cinnamon and other spices, maybe even clove. Yeah, so cinnamon, allspice. I don't think it has clove. At least my version doesn't, but the original recipe, who knows? Cinnamon, allspice. It's not really in the original recipe, but I find a little bit of chocolate, like cocoa powder or unsweetened baker's chocolate, a little bit of that cocoa flavor in there really deepens it. And it's just like a spicy, like mildly spicy, but Greek spiced seasoned meat sauce. And then you put it over noodles and then you put shredded cheddar cheese over top of it. And it's unbelievable.
It is pretty good. Yeah.
Let's see. Dustin says, Juju, it's always night when they try and get it mostly right. Absolutely. And honestly, by doing that, you're kind of teaching people around you why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
And then they see your benefits and then they're like, well, maybe I should look into that.
Right. Motivate people.
Setting the quiet example, as Dr. Barry says. Brenda says, cowboy butter with ground mustard and stuff. Yum.
That sounds good.
Love it.
Yeah.
Juju says, Dustin, I was a long-term sub as a music therapy teacher for the emotionally disturbed and severe autistic kiddos. They ordered staff food every first Friday. She learned halfway I would order soda only. There you go. But see, people learn over time and it's really cool.
Yeah.
There's Risa talking about what Skyline is.
Awesome.
She says, it's awesome. I had it once, make my own now. I love it. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Victor from Southern Keto is here. Good morning, my
Victor?
brother. He says, good morning, y'all. Want to pop in and say hi and hit that thumbs up. Way behind after taking a weekend trip to see the red clay strays and relax. Now I can't relax. Everyone have a great week.
Awesome. I love the red clay strays. That's cool.
We're glad you're back, brother.
Yeah.
Juju says, I tell folks at work I'm pretty easygoing. I wear a size large McDonald's Diet Coke. Cheap date. P.S. I know it's terrible for me, but it's my only vice left, and I'm good with it for now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good for you.
Sherry says, I love brown butter Mazithra cheese from the spaghetti factory. I want to try to make it myself, but none of my stores here carry Mazithra cheese. I get it, Sherry. That's a tough one to find.
Yeah.
I had to go to like 3 stores when I did, back before I had my noodle recipe I make now, the one that I did before that. Remember I made that brown butter Mazithra cheese?
I do.
Because I used to like that from Old Spaghetti too.
Mm-hmm.
And I made that, and I had to go to like 3 stores before I finally found it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was rough trying to get a hold of it.
Yeah. It was a trip around town.
Let's see. Dustin says, there was a video I thought by Thomas DeLauer, but I can't seem to find it. It talks about the 2 types of carrageenan, and one is food grade and one is not.
Interesting. Huh.
Very interesting. He says, I've been adding butter along with heavy cream into my coffee, extra espresso powder too.
Ooh, that sounds good.
There you go.
I like that.
So that's what I used to do. First I was doing cream all the time. Then I started doing half cream and half butter. I switched over to all butter, and I was still doing cream for her.
Mm-hmm.
And then she finally started drinking it with the butter as well, because I think her taste just changed, and she was like, oh, that's really good now.
I like it and I feel better.
Mm-hmm.
And like the one thing I've noticed is like, especially like being a singer and when you got to like get up early and do this and do that, I noticed that if I have butter, I don't have as much like phlegm and mucus, especially during like allergy season, like the spring, or if I'm sick.
Right.
So also like we've talked about, butter for me, it's like I eat it all throughout the day. It makes me feel really good. So yeah, so I love butter in my coffee. I don't even think about cream anymore. You just give me a stick of butter and a cup of coffee and I'm happy as can be.
Absolutely.
Happy.
Absolutely. John says growing up in the 80s was great. No helicopter parents. Political correct was not a thing. We played outside all day, riding our bikes all over town without helmets or knee pads.
Y'all were wild.
That's right.
Yeah.
And somehow you guys lived.
Mm-hmm.
So Dustin says, I've seen duck fat in small jars at the store. It's like $15 for 14 ounces. Yeah, I don't like to buy it. I collected my own for making ducks at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I rendered all the fat out of all the skin and all of the fatty bits of the duck. And I saved all of that. I put it in a little skillet and I cooked it to make sure I cooked any water off of it that might have been left. Yeah. And then I saved all of that, and that's in the refrigerator now. That's what I use.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
too,
it's amazing. Juju says, Chris, there was a study about 10 grams of allulose causing major weight shifts versus not using it. It's not in your head. I just want my tomato carbs over allulose carbs in my day. I hear you. Yeah. Yeah. So it seems to work for me. So I'm just doing my thing.
As long as it works.
Yep. My dog is completely rearranging my pillow on the couch back there.
She's making herself at home.
Auntie says, I've been concerned considering 102 days post back fracture and very little physical activity. Got brave, only about 3 pounds difference from pre-fracture weight.
Oh,
Auntie,
that's amazing.
Awesome. Well, this is the thing, guys. Like, life happens.
Yeah.
Your weight might go up. Your weight might go down. Your weight might not move.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing things that are healthy for you, does it really matter?
No.
Just keep working on it, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
She says she considers it a win. Yeah, I totally
consider that a win too. I'm proud of you.
Love it.
That's freaking awesome.
Barbara is here and says, Dustin, Horizon Organic heavy whipping cream does not have carrageenan the last time I looked anyway. It is expensive though. So.
Yeah. Hi, Barbara.
Hello, Barbara. And Donna is here. She says, I'm here for a short time eating my lunch at work. Well, hi, Donna.
Nice.
Glad you're driving in for a minute. So good to see you.
Yeah.
Dustin says, I need to double check. I've seen what they have at Costco. I got to remember what brand that is and if it's got carrageenan, but it's $4 more than I'm paying for a 64-ounce container.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. When it doesn't have carrageenan, it's then like massively expensive a lot of times. So John says, I wonder if yogurt cultures help digestion on a carnivore-ish diet. Any ideas? So here's the thing about yogurt and all that kind of stuff. From a biological standpoint, not much of the culture of like yogurt or kefir or any of those things is going to make it past your stomach acid. Your stomach acid kills all that. Mm-hmm. That being said, When Ash has stomach trouble, kefir seems to make her feel better. Yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs up for kefir.
Thumbs up for kefir. It seems to make a difference. I can't explain that. So the only thing I would say is give it a try.
Yeah.
Just give it a try. See if it works for you. And if it works, don't question why. You just do what works, right?
Well, I think too, like if you think about like people like we talk about are different. And so like depending on the years of stuff we've all done to our bodies, everyone's a little bit different. And so it's like, and I also like when I did carnivore, I had to have kefir.
Yeah.
And then I had it on a really regular basis for a while. I haven't had kefir though in like 3 months.
Yeah.
Because I made other changes to my diet. I started doing this other stuff. And then I felt like, and I've taken it out and I don't notice a difference. So I think some people may just need it at least for a while and just, it seems to work.
Yeah.
And I can't explain why. But like for someone like me, it really helps me for a while. And now I'm like, I took it out and I don't notice a difference. I think my body's healed.
Yeah.
I started losing weight again. I don't feel like I need it. I'm going to not use it.
Yeah.
So just trial and error.
Yep. That's all you can do. Let's see. Dustin says, I feel my best with beef. I can tolerate chicken, but pork, I just have indigestion. Yeah. We've experienced some of that. So we eat pork from time to time, but we don't do it regularly. And if I do it, I really try not to do it like if we have to eat late at night, like after Ash Wednesdays.
Yeah.
We try not to do something like eat a whole bunch of pork and then try to go to bed. Because
we eat it like late afternoon.
Yes. Yeah. We just don't feel our best on pork. I mean, I still enjoy it from time to time, but it's just not our main staple. He also says bacon and pork belly on occasion because it's great, though I've been having more bacon with BBBE this month. What's really interesting is bacon doesn't do it to me. It's only like pork shoulder or pork chops or things like that. The bacon itself, I don't know if it's something about the fact that it's cured or because it's so fatty and then we render it and make it crispy. I'm not sure what it is. Something about bacon does not cause that for me. I also can't eat nearly as much bacon as I can all those other kinds of pork.
Yeah, I can eat some bacon.
She can put away some bacon.
In case y'all are wondering, butter and bacon. I can get down. Yeah.
Brenda says mother always used kitchen bouquet to color her gravies and such. What do you think? I've never used kitchen bouquet, but to be honest, I don't even know what the ingredients are. I'd say read the ingredients, see if it makes you say, yeah, I think that's all right. Give it a try. See if you like it. See how you feel. I've never used it though, so I really can't say. Risa says, I cannot find goat butter, but I can find ground goat. Use it in chili the other day, and everyone loved it. Huh. Yeah, goat meat is fantastic.
That's cool.
Let's see. And Holly says, thanks, Risa. Been looking for goat cream and yogurt too, but no luck so far finding it. Look for a local farmer or a local person that has goats and contact them directly and see if you can get goat milk and goat cream from them and then make butter and yogurt from it. That's the way to do it if you can do it. Yeah. Because it can be hard to find places, but if you can find someone locally that has goats, sometimes they'll sell you some, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Crane Carnivore Cutler, the organic Horizon heavy whipping cream that my Costco carried had no carrageenan until early last year. Then it had it with one or more gums. The last time I was there, it was clean heavy whipping cream 3 weeks ago. See, this is the thing, guys. You always have to read labels because companies play.
Yeah.
They like to, we're going to try this out. And then people get angry and then they take it away. Well, let's try this out. I mean, they're going to find ways to do it if they can.
Yeah.
Because that's the way the food system works right now. So fight against that. Vote with your dollars. Juju says, I'm not awesome. Lupus and pain is a major motivator. Gluten, soy, corn, and potato are absolutely not my friend. Pain sucks. Well, that's true. But there are people out there who suffer the same way you do that still won't make the hard decisions you can. So you are awesome, Juju.
Yeah. There's also a lot of people that don't know what causes that pain.
Absolutely.
And that's the heartbreaking thing. So, but yeah.
Yep.
But Juju, I think you're awesome.
Yep, you are awesome. Dustin says, we're on a vacation. We partake in local things. Disney, whatever. I'm willing to play around with things if I'm in a place I don't get to go to often. Same here.
Yeah, same.
Same here. Amy says, I can't cheat. If I do, I'm in incredible pain and can't walk for days or weeks. Just not worth it for me. Gluten wrecks me. Right. See, and this is the thing. Everyone has different experiences with this. And if you're someone like Amy, like there is no way it's worth it because it ruins everything else that you get to do. Right. And that's why it's for each person. There's no one clear way of doing this because each person has a different experience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dustin says, I've heard from more than a few people are over in Italy and other countries known for food, they'll eat all the food there and lose weight.
Yeah.
Right. Because you take all the poison and the junk out of your diet. And even if you're having too many carbs, your body still goes, thank God, relief. And it finally starts to shed stuff. Plus, when you're in European countries, a lot of times you're walking a lot of places.
Yeah.
You're more physically active because gas is expensive over there. I mean, you think it's expensive here right now? It has always been expensive because they don't drive that much.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you think about, not only is their food different, the culture is different. Other countries don't work 40 hours a week. You know, they stop and they, have a glass of wine and a nap. I mean, I would love that.
Yeah.
But the culture is just different on top of the ingredients of their food. So no wonder that they live their life. I mean, there's so many differences depending on what country you're in.
Absolutely.
When that being said, I love America and it's an amazing country.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We're just really passionate though about the fact that they're fixing our food system and trying to give you guys tips and tricks and tools, because here we do work a 40+ hour week and we do these things. So how can we get our health under control while being in this environment and trying to inspire and motivate change?
Amen. I love it when my wife preaches.
I don't think I'm preaching. I'm waking up
preaching.
still, but I'm here. Yeah.
Amy says my cheat is putting some carrots in my stew or chili. Right. And you know what? If that's what works for you, do that. That's great.
Yeah.
John says definitely cheating is a learning experience if you pay attention to the consequences afterwards. Keeps me away from a lot of things that are not worth the consequences. Same here.
Yeah.
Same here. Also, I know what things make me feel bad because I test it.
Right.
Every now and then I test it a little. Rick is here. Charger Mopar. He says back home for lunch. Heart attack chicken cooking. That sounds great, Rick. We'll be there in what, 9-10 hours. We can
something
get there.
Like that. I think it's maybe a little longer to Miami. I think.
Yeah, Miami's
at. Yeah.
Miami's a pretty long way down there. Juju says that's how I rationalize my fancy Nespresso machine I got used on Marketplace, but the pods are not cheap. My list of safe foods is so tiny. I'm having the fancy coffee.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's the thing. You pick the little things that keep you going and go for it, Buy the nice cut of steak. Buy the fancy coffee pods. Like the little things that keep you happy and stable and make you feel like this is a special part of my life that I get to enjoy without compromising my health. Do it. That's why I make my recipes. Take the time to make the carnivore crackers.
Yep. Take
the time to make the carnivore noodles because damn it all, I deserve something good every now and then. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, man.
John says Idaho spuds, tallow, and salt. That's all French fries should contain, in my opinion.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
And John says a pat of butter is my snack size candy bar now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Rick is frying chicken right now in lard, making a short video from it. That's cool, man.
I like it.
And he says, if I had a lot of money, I would be embarrassed to show off. I would put together a free meetup instead. I love that. Dustin was talking about him having a yacht.
Yeah.
So funny. Holly Springer says, I grew up in the 60s, and there seems to be so much more evil being done to other nowadays. I can't help but wonder if the American standard diet and processed foods aren't the reason why. I think so. And I think, unfortunately, there is Dustin, Victor, and I talk about this. In the world of keto and carnivore, there are factions that have split off, small but loud factions that have split off, that have come to this way of eating, and they improve something in their lives or they do whatever, and suddenly they see it as a way to elevate themselves above others, probably because they struggled with things for a long time and they felt like they were beneath everyone. Because they had no self-confidence. Now they found one thing, like they've lost weight. They feel better. Something has happened, right? Or they're super strict carnivore. And they see it as a way to be better than other people and beat other people up. And so they latch onto the one thing that they feel like they have as a way to try to ruin other people's lives. And what a horrible way to have to live your life.
Yeah.
And that's why we are what we are and why we are here for you guys, because we don't ever want you to feel like that's the way the world should work. Don't ever want you to feel like you don't have support, because we love y'all. And let's see. Risa says Chris has a video on making carnivore skyline chili. And Cindy says, I tried to link it, can't find it. Yeah, Cindy, that is the carnivore noodles, the ones that I make with the chicken. I make spaghetti and no, not spaghetti and meatballs. I made Maybe it was spaghetti and meatballs. Whatever it was I made out of that. I made something for you. I think it might have been spaghetti and meatball.
Spaghetti meatballs and then
I did the chili on there, the carnivore version of a 3-way. That is that big noodle video that I have where I'm holding up the noodles and it says this is insane. It's that one. That's where I did the chili.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and talk about insecurities before we get too deep in here, and then we'll catch up with the rest of the comments in a minute. So we talked a little bit at the beginning about, insecurities, how I have insecurities. Ash has insecurities. We all, as people, we have insecurities. We're real people. We are not perfect. We have feelings like everyone else. And one of the things that used to really drive me crazy was the people that would come on the channel, or even, people that have gone out of their way to go to my website and email me to tell me how terrible I am, or, you're fat and you're going to die early. And just all the different things that we hear. And it's not that I've ever believed any of these people saying any of that, but it's like, I'm a human being like everybody else. Why am I not deserving of being treated like a human being like everybody else? I'm not going to those people's daily life, to their job, to their whatever, and insulting them and bullying them and trying to make them feel like trash. I've never done that to a person in my life because I can't imagine doing that to somebody. And so it really confused me for a long time. What is going on in people's minds that makes them want to do this? Because I'm a human being like everybody else. And I would like to think that I deserve being treated like a human being like everybody else. And when you're a YouTuber, that's just not always something that you can expect. You get some of the most horrible, hateful, heinous things said to you, and people going out of their way to say it to you. And it preys upon insecurity, because if people think that they see something about you that's not perfect, they want to use it as a weapon against you and try to point it out. And it's really incredible to watch. I had a hard time rationalizing that for a long time. And I was watching this thing. Someone was talking about insecurity. It was I think it was a reel, maybe on Facebook or something. It was talking about insecurity. And it was this guy talking about this. And he said, do you realize, it was actually a young guy too, someone that you would think, is too young to have this kind of wisdom about life, but he did. And he said, do you realize that the insecurities that you carry are not your own, but they're because of other people? Someone who's pointing out that they are going to make fun of you or talk down to you because they think you're fat, or they think your skin is the wrong color, or they think your hair looks bad, or they think the clothes you're wearing aren't expensive enough, or they think all of these things. They don't know anything about you. They have no authority from which to speak about anything, but they're going to tell you what they think because in their egotistical mind, their opinion is the ultimate thing that should be heard. And so they place these insecurities on you. And oftentimes it comes from their own insecurities, which were placed on them by someone else. And then what do? You carry around the experience of these people who have put this on you, and it becomes your insecurity. Why is it that a dog does not care if it's fat? Dogs love being fat. Why? Because they get to eat and eat and eat and eat, and they get to lay on the couch like this one back here, right? Why does a dog not care? A dog doesn't have insecurity about its weight. Why? Because they can't understand the concept of someone else putting that insecurity on them. So they just don't even have the insecurity, because insecurity comes from this idea that you have to live up to something that you're not. That's what an insecurity is. Something about me is not good enough to meet with someone else's expectation. So the insecurities we carry are not our own. They're from other people. So first of all, we start to see that and we go, well, wait a minute. Why am I letting other people dictate whether I should or shouldn't be one thing or another? When someone emails me or someone comments on my channel to tell me how I'm fat and I'm stupid and I'm worthless and I'm all these kinds of things, why should I embody any of that? Just because you think all of that stuff doesn't mean that any of it's true. In fact, more than anything, it just makes you dumb and worthless. No human being in their right mind is going to go out of their way to try to do that to someone else. That's just an evil way to behave. You know, that's just lost and broken. And it's like, man, you want to talk about like not being worthless by nature, being worthless by choice is what that is. And so I don't embody any of those things. I don't hang on to any of those things. Now, that's a learning process for me to try to not embody those things and hang on to those things. And I'm still not perfect at it. There's still days where things get to me. Ash will tell you, there's days it drives me crazy and it makes me angry because I don't want to be treated like that any more than any other person does. But something that really stood out to me, I heard that guy say that this is not your insecurity, this is someone else's that is being placed on you. That was the first important thing for me that really stood out. And then the next thing was my good friend, Pastor Bob. And he said, Chris, especially because of the size of your channel and the people that are reaching out to you, you're going to experience people that have hatred for you. And he's like, ask me what my ministry has been like the entire time that I've been a heavy metal pastor. And he's like, one of my mentors said this to me, and I'm going to say this to you. Never read your own mail. And I stopped and I thought about that. And he was like, now granted, I heard this in the 80s when we didn't have computers, the internet, you know, cell phones, all this kind of stuff where we were getting all of these messages and notifications every day. For me, it was, you know, letters showing up in the mail. But he said, never read your own mail. And he said, my mentor told me this. And he's like, what I'm saying is you have got to get to a point where the people that try to hurt you by saying these horrible things, he's like, it's a toll on anyone mentally to try to handle these kinds of things, to try to take on what other people are putting on you. And it doesn't matter who you are. Eventually, it's going to wear you down. And you're not going to have the energy to keep doing the work that you do. And so he was like, you can't make people like that change. That has to be a choice they make. And he's like, you can't do anything to fix it. But don't read your own mail. Don't let it come into your own mind. And he said, have other people go through it who are more removed from it than you are, who aren't attached to these things being said because it's not about them. Have them go through it. Delete all of the junk you don't need to see. And then you just handle the ones where people have questions, where people need help, where people are, you know, telling you that they're appreciative of the work you do, whatever it is that builds your community, that builds your work and builds your self-confidence to do what it is God called you to do. And it blew my mind when he said this, that it's like, I realized it's not what I was doing. So, you know, for people that try to email me or contact me via Messenger or any of these things where they go out of their way to try to get to me, to try to hurt me, to try to make me feel like I'm fat and worthless and useless and terrible and I'm ugly and I'm, you know, I'm going to die early and like all these different things. For all the people that wish to hurt me, I've just flat out cut off the ability for them to even do it. And it's like, okay, more power to you. Click on my website, give me some ad revenue, waste your time, and I'm never even going to see it. That's what I'm doing. So if someone else's insecurity is put on me, how do I fix that? How do I stop that? Well, the first thing I do is I look at the situation where those insecurities are coming from. Where does that come from? Where does it stem from? And then how do I cut that off? Mm-hmm. Right? Cut the grapes off of the vine and the grapes will wither. Okay? So if you don't want someone to be able to ruin your life, then you cut off their path of access to get to you to cause these insecurities. Now, that's easier said than done sometimes, and it can be hard to figure out all of the places in your life where your insecurities are coming from. But start looking at where are the places that insecurities stem from that hurt you, that ruin your self-image, that ruin your focus, they ruin your motivation. What are the things that are getting to you? And what do you do to just cut it off? Because I think as people, we feel like, oh, we have to be able to figure out how to rise up to the burden. I'm not good enough if I'm not strong enough to hear this and handle it, and I just have to tolerate all of this. And if I walk away from it, I'm running, I'm giving up, I'm a coward. No, you're not. Mm-hmm. No, you're an intelligent human being that goes, this piece of trash is not worth my time. So I'm going to cut off their ability to even get to me.
I also think a lot of people have the attitude of, we're just going to laugh it off.
Yes.
Which I get that, and that's okay. But when you have someone daily showing up in your life saying, you're this, you're that, you can only laugh it off for so long.
Yeah.
You really can't.
Yep.
Because you're not a superhuman and no one is. So, yeah, but people talk about, I'm laughing it off. Really?
Yeah.
Okay, how long is that going to work for you? Let me know.
Right. Well, and the thing is, I get the advice from people all the time of just ignore it, just tune it out. And I agree. There's times where you really have to be able to do that. But I think when people are saying that, maybe they don't understand, for me personally, at least, like, I mean, you're talking about me ignoring dozens of things a day. Like, how do you get to a point where you just don't care about what seems like thousands upon thousands of people in the world that would like to see you crash and burn? Now I know there's many, many, many more hundreds of thousands or even millions that would be supportive, because that's why my channel is what it is. That's why I get the views I get. I have the size channel I do. I have the community I do, because the work that I do matters to some people in the world, a lot of people in the world. But that doesn't change the fact that there are still several thousand people probably out there who would love to see me keel over and stop breathing, because they have that much hatred for the fact that I do something that they apparently don't agree with. And it's, when you're a public figure like this, and you have people that have the ability to access you digitally, they will go out of their way to try to tear you down and try to make you feel like you have absolutely no self-worth. Amanda from Carnivorous Me is a great example of this. People were attacking her to a point where she considered ending her own life. And it's like, what kind of person do you have to be to push someone to the point where they may be so mentally unwell that they end their own life? How do you live with yourself being the kind of person who would do that to someone? I don't know, because I've never wanted to be that kind of a human being, because it's honestly, that's not even being a human being. That's being like an animal. She's a good example, though, of what happens if you don't have a way to offload your insecurity and cut off that process of people who are getting to you. So you're not a coward. You're not weak. You're not, something's not wrong with you if you have insecurity, and if people getting to you like that bothers you as it piles up, and so you choose to just cut it off and not allow it to happen. It doesn't make you somehow wrong. That's a perfectly viable thing to do. And interestingly enough, I think it's what pretty much all the successful people in the world do. This is why you can't just get on and find Dr. Barry's cell phone number. You can't just get on and go direct message Dr. Baker. You can't just find Dr. Chafee's address. Like, people who are that level of successful, that have people out there that hate what they do. I mean, they get all kinds of hate. Do you know how difficult it is to get any of them to even see a comment that you've put in their comment section? It's not because they don't care or because they don't want to talk to you or something like that. They don't have time to get to all of those comments. And if they do try to get to one of those comments, they have teams of people that filter through all of that before there's something that they're actually going to take the time to do. It's not because they're apathetic to the fact that people are watching. It's because they've got better things to do. And there's a lot of hate that goes in those comment sections. You can see it. They never respond. They never involve themselves in it. The only difference that I would say what I'm doing versus what they're doing now is I will go back and try to respond to everything after the junk is removed. I don't want to see the hateful, you're worthless, you're a piece of trash, you're fat, you're this, you're that. I don't want to even see any of that, because I don't want to waste my time on trash. Once that is gone, I still try to get in and respond to every single comment, because I'm still capable, with the size my channel is currently, of keeping up with that. And it is getting harder and harder, but I'm still mostly able to keep up with that. And I also want to go in and help people and answer their questions to make them as successful with my recipes as they can be, or if they're struggling or whatever with a recipe or a concept, I want to try to answer. I want to try to help. So I still try to do that. But otherwise, it's really kind of the same thing I'm doing, because my insecurities just like every other person on the planet, are a real thing. So I'm cutting off that flow of people who want to prey upon them, right? So for you guys, what are the places in your life your insecurities come from? What are you doing on a daily basis to cut that off? And it doesn't mean it's going to be perfect and that there aren't still going to be things that get through. There will be. But what can you do to try to cut off the source of more pressure of your insecurities? Once you can do that, then you can really start looking at your insecurities and saying, okay, what of these things are maybe real concerns? The extra weight that I have to lose. I still need to lose it because it's not healthy for it to be on my body. But I'm not panicked about how fast I can do it. I'm just doing what I need to do every day. I will lose the weight. So I'm dealing with that insecurity of, oh, I have extra weight to lose by just going and doing what I need to do to deal with it. There are other insecurities. You look funny. Your voice sounds stupid. I mean, like just crazy things that I've been told. I've gotten an objective view of those and I go, there's nothing wrong with my voice. Mm-hmm. Why is someone else's voice not somehow better than mine? Mm-hmm. What makes one person's voice better than another? Like that's such a stupid objective concept to try to, ridicule someone over. Mm-hmm. Like that's weird. Why does one person's voice somehow not measure up to another's? Our voice sounds the way it does. I mean, like you're talking like schoolyard bullying, immature crap at that point. Like, it's just stupid. Mm-hmm. I don't like the way your skin looks. Okay, prejudice much? I mean, like, come on. Like, that's ridiculous. So when you see things that are insecurities people have put on you, that you look at it that way and you go, well, that's not something to be insecure about. This person's crazy. Mm-hmm. Great. So those are the ones that it's like, okay, well, I don't even need to do anything about that. That's just, let that go. But you can start to see these things objectively because you cut off the constant flow of your insecurity. So you can actually wrap your mind around some stuff, deal with the things you can control that aren't necessarily good for you. Yeah, thumbs up. Deal with the things that you need to that aren't necessarily good for you, but that you have control over. And then realize things you don't have control over. It's not because there's anything wrong with you. It's because someone else was putting an insecurity on you that's illogical and based out of a place of, quite honestly, being a great big whining baby. And then you can start seeing that for what it really is. And you go, I don't actually have to care about people like that. Yeah. And that is how we start to handle insecurities. Mm-hmm. When you recognize it's not your own insecurity, it's what other people put on you. And then you can deal with the ones you can control in an appropriate way. And you can throw away all of the stuff that comes from nut jobs who seek only to hurt, kill, steal, destroy, whatever, all because you've cut off a constant flow of an insecurity and you can start to wrap your mind around it and deal with it. Mm-hmm. That's what I have to say. I would love to see what you have to say here.
Oh, I don't think we want to get me going.
No, I love getting you going. It's great.
It's great.
I get to sit here and drink my coffee and listen to you preach.
Okay.
It's great. It's wonderful.
Okay, wonderful. I think this is I think just in short, I don't want to go off on a long tangent, but I totally agree with everything that you're saying. And I think we all deal with this. And I know you're using yourself right now as the example, but I think something that is important to remember is for most people, whether you're a YouTuber or maybe you're a teacher or whatever, whatever you do in life, these people are usually the people closest to you sometimes. Sometimes they might be strangers, but I'd say more than likely they would be that way. And Chris and I have dealt with this in many ways. Clearly we've talked about my dad and having an abusive childhood. Right. That's why I haven't talked to my father in 15 years. Yep. And there's all these different things though, where it's like, you have to realize like, well, where are my insecurities coming from? That voice that says you're fat, you're not good enough, you're this, you're that. Is that your dad? Is that your friend, quote unquote? Like where does that come from? And you have to then be willing to kind of figure out how to set up boundaries or how to, unfortunately, cut it out if necessary. The one thing that, Chris and I have always talked about too, which is very, very evident, especially since Chris has started his YouTube channel and gets a lot of hate for a lot of the things that he does, is I always view that when people send us emails and messages and all this stuff, and when they come in the comment section and whatnot, we have really learned, especially recently, that we need to treat those and view those for what they are, which is a very hurt person who is trying to literally derail everything that we're trying to do.
Yep.
And you have to ask yourself the question, is it more important that you take care of your own self and your own well-being and your own mental health, and you go out into the world and you are better at your job, you're a better parent, a better spouse, you're, putting your time and energy into things that actually matter, that create good, positive things in the world? Or are you going to let that person derail you from what you should be doing and what you should be focusing on to come over here and argue with them and go back and forth and bicker and, and to argue?
Yeah.
And honestly, I think people like that just are a waste of time, and they're literally just trying to derail you. And I think you need to realize that whoever it is in your life, doesn't matter who it is, if someone is causing that for you, they want you to fail. And I know that sounds very terrible. And yes, I get that probably is someone very close to you, but they want you to fail.
Yeah.
Because if you fail, it's going to make them feel better about their own insecurities and see what, thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. They're going to want, so, I mean, yeah, they're literally out to make you fail. And so it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, if you're a YouTuber or whatever, but just some important things, to kind of focus on. And can I also speak my mind?
Oh, you speak your mind all you want. I'm loving it.
Okay, great. Well, to be really honest and just very blunt and very straightforward, no filters this morning. I get really pissed most days because I don't think a lot of people realize when you're a public figure how much hate and crap that you actually get. And I think we all kind of get that enough in our own life. But like, I get really defensive of Chris sometimes because it's like, I help him filter like some of the comments. And like, for example, like we don't even talk about even a small percentage of the stuff that we get on a day.
99% of it I just delete without ever reading, and now 99% of it I don't even get to delete it. It gets taken care of before I ever even see it.
Just get rid of it. But like literally the other day we were trying to have meetings about, writing cookbooks or doing a cooking crash course or helping these people get the word out about a keto and carnivore event that's coming up. And so it's like we're trying to go about our day and we're literally trying to focus on all of these good, positive things where we know that there are other people who rely on us, who depend on us, who need our help. And we're trying to go out into the world and bring good things and positivity. That day alone, we got 3 emails from 3 different people who literally went to Chris's website and are emailing us, blowing up our phone. And it's things like, I hate you and I hope you die and you're fat and blah, 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 blah. And so Chris and I have talked about it. And this is why we now have these things in effect where it's harder to get to us, because I ain't got time for your bull. You know what? I can't cuss, damn it. But seriously though, because it's like, do you want to spend your life getting your health in check, being a better version of yourself, being there? Like, I would rather focus personally on being a good wife, a good dog mama. I'm a big sister. It's like, I'd rather focus on writing songs and doing what I love to do. I'd rather go help people. I'd rather help Chris create recipes and film videos. I want my time and attention to go to these things that matter. And these other people, they just need to get the hell out of the way, because it's like, they're nothing but a distraction. And I've worked too hard to let someone walk in and derail. And I hope that you guys have that same no excuses, get the hell out attitude, because it's like, it's dumb. It's done. And I'm sick of it. And especially people who also claim to believe in the keto and carnivore diet, who also then come on someone else's channel and start that. That's a whole nother subject. He said he was going to talk about this today. And I'm like, But yeah, I get real heated about this stuff, not because I'm angry, but because it's like, I don't want anyone to walk along and derail like what Chris is trying to do, or like, don't come at my husband or my family. Because where I come from, I'd kick your butt if I met you in person. That's my Bakersfield side coming.
There you go.
But yeah, but it's just so important though to like guard your heart and guide your mind. Scripture tells us that, whether you believe in the same faith that we do or not, though. It's like, that's why I think that's so important to do that. And it's also important to have good community around you. It is important to be realistic with your goals and just to be supported and encouraged, which is why we sit here for a couple of hours on a Monday morning, because it's like, this is kind of a very important subject, and it's
Yeah.
kind of life or death. And we've talked about the power of your mind.
Right.
And we talk about, how that really has the power of your mind has a lot to do, with your success.
Yeah.
And so to guard your heart, to guard your mind is very, very important.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
I'm done preaching. I'm done being mad. Thank you for listening.
No. I think it's all really, really good. And, it's really important stuff. Auntie gave us a $10 super chat, says, I couldn't have been successful these last few months without my keto family in so many ways. Auntie, you are awesome. We love you. And truthfully, this is a good example of why we do what we do.
Yeah.
I have no need to waste my time with someone who thinks that I'm fat or I'm a liar or I'm any of these other kinds of things. It's like, I live my entire life online. What am I going to lie about? It's like, it's all here. Everyone sees me multiple times every week. I can't hide anything that I do.
Right.
And so it's like the
and
amount
we don't
of,
want to,
right. The amount of hatred that has to come through someone like that to try to derail what it is I'm doing to try to help people is just not worth my time. It's not worth my energy. And that's why we've just basically set things up where I don't even have to see that stuff anymore. So it's like, you want to waste your time? Cool. Go ahead and go out and be a hateful human being. And I won't even know it that you're doing it. So best of luck. But people like Auntie is why we do what we do, because this is the kind of stuff I couldn't have been successful these last few months without my keto family in so many ways. We are a part of a very large group of people that supports people just like Auntie.
Yeah.
We are here for people. We are trying to do anything we can to help real people one day at a time. And it's not perfect. There is no perfect journey that anyone is on. This is just us all figuring it out in a messy way, day by day, trying to do it better because we love you guys. That's the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
A brilliant blessed news and more is here. Says, good morning, Chris and the chat mods. Good to see you, my friend.
Hello.
We're glad you're here. John says, that's a new skill I developed after 3 years ketovore. I can walk away after one piece of high carb snacks. One Oreo at a time is possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's cool.
Awesome, man.
If you can develop that, that's fantastic. I've developed a much better self-control over that. I still keep it very, very tight when I do have things that are not keto or carnivore. But I can, on rare occasion, I can do it and exercise self-control, which is really, really good. I could not do that in the past. Dustin says, I remember when nice cool water from the garden hose was the best on a hot day riding our bikes. We played sneak up on the lawn sprinkler to not get soaked to get a nice drink.
That's awesome.
Love it. John adds, I used to eat a whole line of Oreos with 16 ounces of milk. Now one isn't a problem because I know the consequences and they're too sweet now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. A brilliant blessed news and more says bacon is their weak spot.
Same.
Yes.
Same. Absolutely.
Cranky Carnivore Cutler. While stomach acid does kill many of the bacteria in kefir and yogurt, some beneficial strains survive and reach the intestines where they can contribute to a healthy gut microbiome. Well, there you go.
There you have it.
There you go.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yep, that's awesome. John says, you have to love everyone, but you don't have to like everyone. I try to not let the ones I don't like bother me.
Smart.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Dustin says, I would not be who I am today without all of you amazing folks in this community.
Aww.
Absolutely.
Same here, man.
We wouldn't be who we are without all of you guys. He also says, I've noticed that after going on 9 years cheating now versus in the first couple of years, my body reacts very different. I'm also better able to handle things. I agree. I'm the same. I don't feel great having things that I'm not supposed to, but it does not hit me nearly the way that it used to. And I am far more capable of saying no after a few bites of something or dealing with that one cheat meal and then going to something else.
Yeah.
So
it's really cool.
Yeah. A golden ring is here. A great topic. Sylvia in New York. Well, thank you, Sylvia.
Thanks,
We're glad
Sylvia.
you're here. Rick says today's heart attack is delicious. And he says, people are jealous that you are an attractive and successful couple and they just cannot deal with it. I consider the haters an indication of success.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rick. And I agree. If you're getting hate on your channel, you know that you're doing something right.
I think if in your life, I mean, I don't even think this is really about Chris and I at all. If you are whoever in the world, you are a person and you matter. And if you're getting hate for something, stop and ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Is it because you're doing something cool, unique, different? Is it because you're bettering your life, you're bettering your health? Because the truth of it is, when you start to be better, you motivate the right people to be better with you.
That's right.
The other people, they go, well, wait, now you're pointing out my insecurities that maybe I need to lose weight or I need to do that or I need. And so then they start to bring you down to make themselves feel better about. So yeah, but thank you, Rick.
Excuse me. Absolutely. And also just because I think it puts things in perspective so well.
Mm-hmm.
This is the success I'm not having.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, now, does that mean that I don't still have weight to lose? No, sure I have weight to lose, right? But like the guy on the left in the white t-shirt was basically about 400 pounds, and I was in such horrible shape, and I just felt so terrible. The guy on the right is probably about 270-ish, something like that. Okay. I remember someone that was commenting on me like, you look like you're fat and you're not a real carnivore and all these things. And I'm like, dude, you're telling someone who's 270-ish whatever pounds that they're a failure after they came from being 400. Like, you can't possibly convince me that 130 pounds that I've lost is a sign of my failure.
Yeah.
Like, that's just completely illogical. So, keeping these things in perspective is really important. Like, you have to remember that there are so many more layers to what does and does not make you successful than the opinions of one jackwagon on the internet.
Jackwagon.
Yes.
That's good. That's good.
Dustin says, in psych class, I learned I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am.
Oh,
yes.
That's a good one.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
I also remember hearing this piece of advice. I think is one of the greatest things I've ever heard. What other people think of you is none of your business. That's a big one. And you want to talk about like insecurities and lack of self-confidence that would lead you to success and, all these things. What other people think of me is none of my business. Just go out and be successful and let the people that hate you for it continue to hate you for it and watch in misery as you rise and continue to get bigger and better. There you go. I like this. Rick says, I don't have to obey the trolls. Amen. No. Holly says, Chris, there's also intergenerational trauma that affects many people. Doing a DNA test and finally learning my origin story, it explains so much. Yeah,
Holly.
There is stuff that is passed on in all different kinds of ways, and knowing that and breaking those generational curses intentionally is very important to us.
Yeah.
We work to put a stop.
Don't get me started, Holly. That's a whole nother thing right there. That's a whole nother thing. But yes, definitely.
Auntie says, what's the saying? Hurt people hurt people. Yes, they absolutely do.
Grandma's here.
Grandma is here. Patricia says hello from cold South Carolina. Hi, Patricia. We're glad you're here.
Hope you're well.
And she says it's all about boundaries. Haters gonna hate.
That's right.
That's right. And so we set those boundaries and I cut those people off so they can't even get to me anymore. Dustin says, Chris, if you have an opportunity to speak with Amanda at Meat Stock, please let her know that we've got her back and we're here for her if she'll let us when she comes back.
Yes.
Absolutely. Really hoping I get a chance to just meet with her and talk to her and just make sure she's doing okay and tell her we all miss her and that we're here for her. He also says Sean Baker does publicly respond to bad comments. He's built that into his platform. Yeah. He also gets to come from a place of being super jacked. With all of the doctor knowledge he has and everything. Like, it's cool that he gets to do that. Auntie says, gotta love a keyboard bully hiding behind a screen. Oh yeah, it's pure cowardice that leads people to behave that way. But it's really interesting. Rick says, have never seen a content creator on YouTube send me bad comments. Yeah, that's the thing. Really successful people don't bash other people for not being successful like them. They might want to help. They might tell you things you could do to be better, but they don't have a reason to try to tear you down because they're too busy being successful on their own to have time to go out and hate other people, which is why if someone is intentionally trying to tear you down and be hateful, it goes to show you how really unsuccessful they are.
Yeah.
Because apparently they have nothing better to do with their life because they're not doing anything important.
Yeah. Also, they don't have time to go tear other people down because they are too busy being successful. But they also realize that if you, even like say if you're a smaller channel or a smaller creator, are out in the world doing good and better things for the community, well, eventually then they're going to support you doing that because you're also helping them. And we all win when we all help each other. And successful people get that because how do you think they once became successful? It wasn't by listening to people who say, you're fat, go die in a hole. It wasn't by any of these things. It was someone probably gave them help and advice and knowledge. And they went, oh, this is how I do this. And then they took practice and they put things into effect and boom, they became successful. And so, yeah, I mean, think of it from business. Take out the words keto, carnivore. Think of it from a business example. Why do major corporations go and partner with celebrities or different people that have big platforms that in themselves are successful in their own right? It's
Absolutely.
Like everyone wins.
John says, if someone has negative opinions trying to hurt me, I just tell them, other than myself, there's only one person that ever lived on this planet whose opinion matters to me. And newsflash, it's not you.
Amen.
That's very true. Auntie says, Chris and Ash's voices make my Mondays so much better. Auntie, you are so sweet.
You're so sweet.
You
Auntie.
being here makes our Mondays so much better.
I just love you.
Yes, I wish you didn't live so far away from us.
I know. We could have her over for Skyline Chili.
That's right. That's right. You can come over for Carnivore Skyline.
Oh, yum.
Rick says, I feel better when people I know succeed.
Agreed,
Absolutely.
Rick, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. When you just work to try to help the people around you succeed, you do so many great things with your life. Like just, just getting out of your own butt, pulling your head out of your own butt, trying to help people around you. It's an amazing thing. It's what it means to truly grow and be mature as a human being. So
agreed.
Some people online should take note of that. Carrie says, I can say this. When you know who you are in Christ, what other people say to and about you is filtered through the truth. All the evil sharp stones bounce off the wall of who you really are in him.
Oh, Carrie,
amen. Love that. It's a great way to look at that.
Amen. Also, Jesus is a really good example of someone who showed up and did incredible things and helped a lot of people and got hated on to the point where they eventually killed him for it. I mean,
that's the thing I was thinking, I get those messages telling me like, you're fake, you're a liar, this is not true, blah, 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 all these different kinds of things and just hatred and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, whether you believe what we believe or not faith-wise, even if you only think of Jesus as a historical figure, like he was doing all of this stuff. And the people who thought they were better, the religious leaders of the day that used religion as a way to look down on other people, those people hated him for the fact that he was successful at what he was doing and did everything they could to accuse him of things he never did and try to just tear him down and try to make it look like he was just trash and all these kinds of things. And it's like, if you're doing things to help people and someone comes at you with a whole bunch of hate, you're in real good company. That's a real good place to be. So it relights the fire of why you do what you do. And it's like someone who, sends you messages and tries to be hateful towards you and that kind of stuff. I don't even see them now, but when I was seeing them, I just tried my best to use that as like this is why it's so important that I continue to succeed, because this person deserves to see me succeed despite what they think, because it takes what they do and puts it even smaller and even less. So our doorbell rang. I'm assuming it's probably a package delivery. And our big scary watchdog is going to go do something about it, apparently.
Go get him. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
Oh my goodness.
Come here. It's okay.
S. Diamond says, I have someone in my life through another friend who always puts me down every time I see her. I'm trying to distance myself from people like that. And S. Diamond, I think that's the best thing you can do. It's like, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what? This person is not good for me. This person is not good for my mental health. So I'm not doing that.
And I think, unfortunately, I know sometimes that can be really hurtful, but I think that's what you have to do.
Yep.
And yes, for your own self, but I think also for those, closest to you, truthfully.
Yeah.
Where it's, because that's the thing. It's like, when we let people get under our skins like that, we're all so successful to it, and we're definitely not perfect. But this is just something we've really learned recently, which is why I think it's important to share. If we let this person come in and derail what we're trying to do, well, then that's going to affect, if I let that get under my skin, it's going to affect Chris. If that then affects Chris, well, then that's going to affect the community. It's going to affect our other relationships. It affects our businesses. It affects our minds. Cortisol levels. It affects our weight loss. It affects so many different things. And so it's hard, but I mean, unfortunately you do have to distance yourself and really keep all these things in mind.
Yep, absolutely. Dustin says, I'm very protective of this community, as am I.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why Dustin and Victor and I all started working together, because we want to support people. And all three of us are very protective of the people who need assistance and need encouragement and need help and need all this different kind of stuff. Like, we are very much here to support and protect the people that we care about. And that's the thing. When you try to do good things and then evil people come in and try to ruin it, it makes it very clear that those people are evil.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
It's very clear. Like, oh, right, you're the bad guy in the story. Got it. So no one's listening to you. We're going to go over here with this very large community of people who all deserve something better than that. And we're all going to go be successful in spite of you.
Right.
And that's what we do. That's why we do it. Barbara says, say it louder, Carrie.
Yeah, Barbara. Carrie's on it, man. Awesome.
Sherry says, wow, people actually send you emails like that. I'm so sorry. Glad you figured out a way to deal with them. Yeah.
Daily.
Daily. I'll be honest. Like, you guys, if you guys knew 20% of what it is I get on a daily basis, you would probably question why I do this. Like, you really would. You'd be like, why do you even put up with it? Why don't you just go do something else with your life? And it's like, the level of calling you have to have in your life to choose to be a YouTuber to try to help other people is something you have to be very passionate about. Because, I mean, Amanda from Carnivorous Me did not get driven to a point of considering ending her own life, or or at least dealing with mental health that would have led her in that direction. She didn't get there by accident. I mean, the things that people will say to you and do to you, and how hard they work to try to get to you, to harm you and just try to destroy you if they can from the inside out. I think probably pretty much any of you that have never done this, you would be shocked if I would show you screenshots of what we get said to us on a daily basis.
And the more that the channel grows, the more, wildly more common this becomes. But also the other thing, if we can just go ahead and like say it and clear it, we're not sharing this with you guys because we want sympathy, or we're not trying to complain by any means. Like, we choose to do this. But I think that this is it's a hard subject to talk about. And I feel like if we can sit here and be open and honest and talk about, well, this is what we've learned. This is the things we're struggling with. This is what we've really come to realize. This is advice that very wise people have given us, like Pastor Bob, the advice of don't read your own mail and all that. You guys can also apply this into your own life. But also, like, by us hopefully sitting here this morning and talking about it, maybe it gives you guys an idea of what people like Amanda were going through. What is Chris going through in a day? I think because you see us in front of a camera all the time, maybe people have an idea, but they don't know everything that goes on. But like, name any famous creator or someone with a good sized channel. It doesn't matter. It's like they all will deal with this to some extent. And as you get bigger and you grow more successful, whether you're a YouTuber or you lose more weight, you get a better job, you do whatever. People get this all the time. And so I think we're just trying to talk about it, though, because we want to be there for people like Amanda and maybe give you guys an understanding of like, well, this is what it's like. When you have a silver play button, is my chair blocking it? Silver play button over here in the back, or, when you do things like this, like, like you're going to get hate. But like, here's how we're trying to deal with it, because we don't want that to affect what we're doing. And we also want to bring the fact of realize other creators may be struggling with something similar, because we all get it. We're not special.
Absolutely. We're all going through these things in our own various ways. You guys are going through this stuff in your own lives in your own various ways. You have your own insecurities. And so if what I go through and what Ash goes through can be an example of like, well, here's what we do to deal with this. Now take those same concepts, apply it in your life to deal with it too. And you become more successful at losing weight, getting your health under control, dealing with an addiction, whatever it is you're dealing with, right? If you can use these things and you can block that kind of flow of insecurity in your life by seeing that we're going through it, you don't feel alone. And now you have some tactics to try to deal with it. Then by all means, Ash will tell you, I have said this, I don't know how many times. If I have to be the one that has the public figure, that I sit here as like a lightning rod for all the hate and all the ridiculous things that I get said to me. And then I can deal with that, come up with tactics, and then I can share it with you. And that makes a difference in your life. So you guys either don't go through the same thing, or if you go through it, you are better equipped to go through it because you've learned something by seeing my example of going through it. If that's what it takes, then I will sit here and publicly accept the ridicule all day long, every day for the rest of my life, because it's not about me. It has never been about me. My channel has never been about me. And I think it was funny. Someone said one time, they were like, I've gotten this in a number of places, but there's one that really sticks out to me, that somebody said my channel and all the things that I do was all about helping myself and making myself rich. And, you know, I'm lying about all this stuff for money and all this kind of stuff. And I told Ash, I said, if anyone knew how many hours of work I do for the amount of money that we make by doing it, they would realize there's a lot easier ways to make money in life than what I do. You know, it's like, I don't do this because it's an easy way to get rich. I do this because it matters to me. And I just try to do the best I can to pay my bills along the way. And it's like, if you looked at my bank account and you saw what comes in on a monthly basis from doing YouTube, you'd probably go, Chris, why in the world do you spend your time doing that? Like, I mean, I work way harder for way less money than probably any other job I've ever had.
We're not in it to get rich, we're to help people.
Right.
And so the money, honestly, I don't think people realize how much money we make.
Yeah.
It's like we pay the basic bills and then we invest it back into the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We set up private communities. We buy ingredients for, you know, recipe videos and stuff like that. I mean, we build a website. We put the recipe. We pay for recipe cards to be on there. It's like a labor of love. And again, it's like not complaining, but I just think people don't understand a lot of what goes behind the scene. So hopefully by peeling back the curtain, though, we're sharing, but also educating and hopefully encouraging and motivating other people and having a good understanding for other creators what they may be going through.
Yep, absolutely. And for you guys to realize you're not alone if you're struggling with these things.
Nope.
You know, just because you see me on camera and I have a big channel doesn't mean I'm not struggling with the exact same things that you guys all struggle with in your own lives, in your own ways. And that's why we're here.
We're all human.
Dustin says, it's also a weird thing to have a lot of people in my personal life who have distanced themselves from me because of my keto lifestyle. Not sure really why.
See, and I think that's a great example though, Dustin. So you probably started to go keto, improve your health. They clearly can see that you're losing weight, you're happy, you're healthy. Maybe you got rid of like things like anxiety and depression like Chris and I did. But it's like, well, why would they distance themselves? Why can't they just be happy for you? Because you just pointed out that they're not doing that with their life. They're not improving their own selves. They
can no longer keep you in that box that they could compare themselves to what you were, and it made them feel good about themselves by seeing what they saw you failing at. So now, because you're improving yourself, it makes them question themselves and their own value and their own worth and their own ability.
Yeah.
So it's easier, rather than changing their lives, doing something positive, celebrating with you, encouraging you, it's easier for them to just distance themselves from you.
And I don't even think a lot of people realize that's what they're doing, to be fair. So not even to talk ill of them. I think sometimes it's just subconscious. Yeah. You know, just.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Carrie says, Dustin, because what you do /are shines a light on where they might need to change and they don't want to look at it.
Carrie, you are on fire this morning, girl.
We ought to just have Carrie come on here and preach for all of us sometime.
Let's get Carrie to preach a sermon. She's on it. Yeah.
Yep. Barbara says, I do believe Carrie has hit the nail on the head here.
Yeah, Barbara.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's killing it.
Dee Lee is here. Hello, Dee Lee. It's good to see you. Well. My mom says, and if all else fails, you can pull out the big stick, me, and I'll go full mama bear. Yeah. There we go. That's right. Guys, turn to the people in your life that support you for that support too, you know? Like, talk to them. Tell them you're struggling. If you've got the insecurities, have the people around you help you with it, you know?
And whether that's a spouse, your parents, or whatever. I mean, honestly, I think I walk up to Chris all the time and go, I feel really insecure about this.
Yeah.
And we talk about it. And it's
we
like,
talk
well,
very openly about
it. Yeah.
Oh, here's the thing. Ash and I both know neither of us is perfect. We don't have this all figured out.
Oh, hell no.
There's plenty of reasons we both might wake up on a daily basis and struggle or feel like we're falling short or any of these kinds of things. And we look at each other and I'll look at her and I'll be like, hey, stop that. I'll get her attention. And I'm like, stop that.
Yeah.
You are beautiful and you are wonderful. And it's like, okay, maybe this thing isn't perfect. Great. So let's figure out how we deal with it.
Right.
You know, but she does the same thing for me. Like, I'll say something and she'll go, hey, don't say that about yourself. Like, we will literally snap each other out of that moment because we realize you can go so focused down a path towards your own insecurity that's all you can see. And
it just then makes you, honestly, it makes you not effective at anything else you're trying to do.
Yes.
It really does.
Absolutely. Arisa says to Dustin, the folks in your life who are distancing themselves are jealous of your success and your newfound health. They don't want to believe what you are doing to be successful.
Yeah, very true.
Absolutely. Sherry says, LOL jackwagons. I follow a crime channel that calls those people jagaloons.
And jagaloons.
I like that.
That's funny.
Dustin's talking about bacon grease. Everyone's talking about how they love bacon grease.
Who doesn't?
Dustin says most of us really care about how well the other creators are doing, how good their content is, how good their thumbnails are, how many views they get. The better they do, the better we all do.
Yep.
Absolutely. Well, here's the deal. If we're all doing this because we want to change the world and we believe in this, shouldn't we be supporting and celebrating the other people who are also alongside of us helping us? Because as the community grows, we all win. We all win together.
I think sometimes too, the power of paying someone a compliment is like a really powerful thing.
Yep.
And I don't think you maybe realize, like, if you're watching YouTube, and especially like if you're on someone's channel and you're just like, man, I really like Dustin's thumbnail, or that was a great video, or whatever it may be, or like, oh, so-and-so's looking really good, or, you notice something, comment. Don't be afraid to share that stuff, because you don't know, like,
absolutely.
That's the thing where it's like, that stuff means so much.
Support can mean more than you guys understand. I'll tell you a personal story about this, very short. Ash and Dustin and I, all three went to this speaking event over in Dixon with Dr. Barry and Nisha were there, and Amanda Decker was speaking and whatever. And so afterwards, we're standing there and we were talking with Nisha and Dr. Barry, and they were very kind. We absolutely love them, and they are very supportive of this channel and of the work that Ash and I do. And we just value them, not just because of what they've done for us, for the channel and for our health, but just their friendship. It really just means a lot from two people that we very much respect in this space, and the fact that they're so kind to us. And they said some very complimentary things, and Nisha asked me to be involved in some stuff, and we haven't settled all the details just yet, but with the private group and this kind of stuff, there's some more things that I might be doing in there. And it was a big honor. It was a big compliment for her to ask me to do this, and and to kind of come in there and be involved. And so we're going to be working to set that up. It was a huge compliment, and it was so kind and so just uplifting for me to see two people that I respect so much say, what you guys are doing is so important. We would like for you to be involved with what we're doing too. And it was amazing. The very next day, I got some of those nasty email things going on, right? And it was amazing how I heard those. And I literally was like, I looked at it and I was like, this person's insane. It did not hit me emotionally, maybe the way it might in the past. It did not get to those like insecurity pathways, because someone who I respect so much had literally just the night before gone, "You're awesome." And then I didn't care about what some nutso person somewhere, who knows where, coming through the internet trying to figure out a way to hurt me could possibly say. I'm like, the juxtaposition of someone who I really care what they think, telling me that they value what I do, and they just value who I am, and that I'm deserving of being treated like a normal human being, offsets so much this other side over here of this crazy person whose whole goal is to destroy the way I feel about myself and what it is I'm doing. And so anything you guys can do in your life to have those people that lift you up, it makes a huge difference for dealing with the insecurities in your life. If you just have that support. Dustin and Victor and I, we all three support each other because of this very thing. We try to go support the other creators. We would like for you guys to go support other creators. So just like Ash is saying, don't ever underestimate the value of telling someone that you appreciate them and you are appreciative of their content or the work that they do, or that you're rooting for them, or you're proud of their success, or whatever it is. And that's why I try to do the same thing for you guys. If you come in here and you share your successes in the comments, that's why I do this rock on thing, because rock on for all of the success that you guys are having, and we want to celebrate that with you, because that goes a long way.
Yeah. Go tell Dustin you like his Bucky's coffee mug. Okay.
That's right. That's right. Amy says, yes, Dustin, I agree. It's because of you I'm working harder on my content and thumbnails. That's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
Amy also says, I cry every time someone tells me I've made a difference in their lives. I don't think I'm making a difference, but every once in a while, people tell me I've saved them, and I get really emotional.
Yes,
Amy,
absolutely.
I understand. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten messages from people that just really catch me off guard. Like, I'll literally hand my phone to Ash, and I'm like, look at this, read this, you know? And it's incredible.
Yeah. And that's
what a feeling.
Amy, that's such a good point, though, because I think that's what we're talking about. So do you want to keep doing what you're doing and improve and grow and be better at it so that you can impact more people and make a difference like this?
Yes.
Or do you want to give time and energy to people that just want to tear you down?
Yeah.
You can't do both.
Absolutely. Amy also says, we're like tentacles on an octopus reaching out to our local communities, but we are all part of this much larger, amazing community. We are all stewards of this lifestyle.
Oh, I love that.
That's
Amy.
a great analogy. I love that. Auntie Mel says, how dare you ring the bell and disturb my nap?
Seriously.
You got that right.
Auntie, here's the thing. She barks and acts that way, but if we open the door and if the delivery guy was there, she would literally just like go out and lick him to death.
If someone ever broke into this house,
we're screwed,
she would help them carry the TV to their car. Like she would, but
she'd hop in the car with them. She'd be like, hello.
She would, especially if they had snacks.
Oh yeah. Big fan.
John says, like you guys said earlier, the more hate you get, the more you know you're doing something good. Absolutely. Absolutely. Patricia says, my pup Rosie wants to come play with Mel. She's crying.
Bring her. I would love that. Mel would love that.
Juju says, Mel sounds like she was singing to me.
I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that.
Lisa says, wow, sorry for the hateful words you get. So hard to understand. You guys do nothing but good things. Thank you for all your good videos. Well, Lisa, I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. And it's honestly, it's okay. This has been this way for a long time on this channel. Like when it was small, it wasn't this way, but because of the weirdness of some of my recipes and the fact that it pokes the bear, as it were, of the really strict side of the carnivore community, pretty early on in my channel, I started getting some of that stuff.
Yeah. And
then especially because my channel started growing so fast, I really started getting some of that stuff, and that's fine. So it's been this way for a long time. It's not that anything has really changed. I'm just much better at knowing how to just cut it off now, so I don't even have to see it. And
it's kind of like stuff where like we've gone through that we're trying to talk about to hopefully help other people though with it, because I think it's kind of been a distraction for a very long time, unfortunately. Yeah.
Risa says, I've gotten horrid comments on my videos and delete them or block them. I don't need others to read that negativity. I agree.
Yeah.
PA Floyd 8 is here. Do you think any of it might be some kind of negative AI bot sending these messages? No.
Definitely not.
These are actual real people. You can tell from the way it's not just like a, hey, your fat carnivore sucks. It's like a, hey, you said this in this video and I can tell you're a liar and your wife is fat and you're fat and I hope you die. And I mean, like it's like very personal attacks, and it goes way beyond just the YouTube comment section. It's like coming on my channel, filling out all of the information of the contact form, putting in a fake email and putting in, or maybe creating a fake email just to do this, which is like, man, how much time are you spending to do something that I'm not even going to now see? It's fantastic. Like, go ahead, waste all your time and, use up a bunch of space like the Google servers, I guess, if you want to. But I mean, it's just like, it just levels that AI cannot go to.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's
just a lot of sick people out there, man.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but there are people out there who are just literally that evil, and no version of AI bot out there is ever going to be able to live up to what some people can do. So but that's why I don't see it anymore, because it's not worth my time. Auntie says, just got a meme that said Ancestry.com says I'm 98% coffee.
Auntie might be, yeah.
Love it. Juju says, I'm still here, just mapping out the rest of my school year. They just offered me a long-term sub job on the days off my regular sub job. That's awesome.
Way to go, Juju.
I did sub teaching for a while when I was building up my funds to move back to Nashville. And those long-term sub jobs can be nice for the stable income they play, and you kind of know your routine. That's a cool gig to get if you're into
Juju.
it. So
come on,
good for you.
Yeah.
Means working every school day till June. Yikes, but money.
Got the money.
Yes, absolutely. Rick says the opinions. There's layers to them. The opinions of people I know mean a lot more than random comments. People who care give you counsel in private. Absolutely.
Very true, Rick. I love that, man.
Very true. Cindy is here. Says, I'm sorry you've had to deal with that. I'm so happy that you have a way to eliminate this from your day. You are a lovely human. Cindy, you are a lovely human, and I appreciate that. And it's like we said, we don't say any of this for attention or pity or any of that stuff. I say this all, though, because I don't think a lot of people think we go through things like this. Because what do you see on videos? You see the edited, put together version. You see my before and after pictures. You see me being excited on camera because I'm passionate about these things. You don't see the days when I get up and I'm like, I'm just not in a great mood because I've gotten a whole bunch of that stuff. And Ash is trying to pull me up out of the depths of my own internal despair, but that's real. That's real. That's what I go through. And, that's okay. I've signed on for that. And I've said that, I'll take it all day long, because if I take it and then I can use it to help other people, that's a worthwhile sacrifice to make. But I just try to be open and honest with you guys about this, because I don't want any of you who might be going through the same thing to feel alone, because we're all going through things and we just want to be here for you. So, but thank you so much, Cindy. You're very sweet.
Very sweet.
Laura is here, says, SoCal earthquake 9:45, rolling, then jerk shook the dishes.
No.
Pastor's wife, your transparency has helped. We all need positive. Laura, thank you so much. Hopefully the earthquake didn't cause anything too awful much to fall. So my California girl over here
knows all about
it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully all are okay.
Love this. Juju says, do a decent job, show up for people, and people will remember and demand you.
Yes, I love that.
Carrie says, opinions are like buttholes. Everyone has one, and some of them stink.
Carrie, I just love you so much. You don't even know.
Carrie is just a laugh riot, but amazing.
Oh, Carrie, you're so great.
Andy says, you've been live for 2 hours. I finally caught up. You're on fire today, and I'm so happy to be in this community. Andy, we are so happy you're in this community.
Andy, I love you too. You're so great. You're awesome. Did you eat your carnivore Wheaties this morning since you're on fire? Is that a thing?
I don't know what it is. Actually, I haven't had any food today other than the butter in my coffee. I haven't had a thing. So we're going to be filming a video after that.
3 videos today.
Yeah, we're actually doing 3 videos today. It's going to be a busy day of filming, but yeah.
It'll be fun.
Rick says, just like when Chris promoted my tiny YouTube channel, that told me then what kind of person he is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the thing, guys. We're here to try to support each other. And if you guys didn't know, it's been a while since we did it, but if you didn't know, Rick, Charger Mopar, has a YouTube channel, and he's got all kinds of cool info. Some of it's about carnivore, some of it's about engines and fixing things and all kinds of stuff, but just cool stuff. So go over and subscribe to Rick and show him some love, because he's doing a completely different thing than what I do. And we all have a place in this area, in this community.
Absolutely,
all of us have a space,
Absolutely.
Dustin says, Nisha about knocked me and Chris over to hug Ash. You ain't wrong.
Well, that's my friend.
You ain't wrong. Well, listen, both of them love Dolly Parton more than probably about anything in the world. So
we like Dolly. It's a thing.
Yeah. Dustin also says, YouTube has a new feature in beta. Only a few channels have it. Mine is not one, where there is 2-way communication on what used to be the communities tab, now called posts. That's really cool.
Oh, very cool.
That's really cool. Auntie says, I imagine those special features following Chris and Ash everywhere. Dealey says, nice story about the support and love you've received from the Berries. Yeah, and that's the thing, do Dr. Barry and Nisha know how much their comments mean to me? I don't know. I hope eventually maybe they'll see something like this, or I'll be having dinner with them at some point and get to tell them or whatever. But, I try to communicate that stuff. But, just it's when you have the ability to impact people like that and you choose to do it for good reasons, man, that stuff changes the world.
It does. Well,
Big time.
It can come from people you respect and admire, but also there's a lot of strangers that walk up to us and say, man, I made your carnivore mashed potatoes for my child with autism, and it's changed their health, or I did this and that with your recipes, and it's like, that's what matters. So it's what we need to focus on.
Rick says, I might be one of the strictest carnivores ever, yet your channel inspires me. It does not bother me. Yeah. And we appreciate that, Rick. And that's
a lot, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, if people are super strict carnivore, I'm not in any way suggesting they should quit doing that and start doing my recipes, but it's like, but it doesn't mean it can't inspire people and that you can't still, support each other and all that. I super support the people that are super strict carnivore. It's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dustin says, I'm a huge Dolly fan. D. Lee also loves Dolly.
Yeah.
Sherry says, I love being part of this community. I used to think bacon, butter, and even eggs were bad for you. I now know they're actually good for you. And that's the thing. We're just trying to teach and help people,
Yeah.
Andy says, I signed up my granddaughter for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. She gets a book every month till age 5.
Oh, that's so awesome. I have a lot of friends who sign their kids up for that, and I'm kind of jealous. It's amazing. Such a cool program.
Barry Weems is here, says, I'm sorry I've missed your shows for the last week, but I've had some medical issues going on. But at least I've been able to watch the reruns. Hope y'all are doing well. Please keep me in your prayers. Barry, we will absolutely do that. Everyone else in the community, please show some love for Barry and keep him in your prayers and your thoughts. Barry, let us know what we can do to help you, my brother. Just be here and let us know whatever we can do. So we love you, and we just hope that you get better quick.
Absolutely.
Keto Simple, Dustin says, Rick, that's what I would like to expect from all other factions that become so strict. Understanding that we can help more people, understanding that everyone has to start somewhere.
Yes, absolutely. Come on.
And they'll hopefully land in the best place for them to be successful and sustainable. Absolutely. MKP is here. I tried the butter bites, some with bacon bits and others with ground beef. Also added element salt on top. Hate to say, but did not like the butter bites at all. Well, everybody has different tastes. So it's also something that, you might not like that when you first try. Over time, your taste buds change, because she wasn't really a fan of butter in coffee, and she wasn't necessarily a huge fan of the butter bites the first time I made them either.
No, because the butter bites would have been like right when we first started keto together.
I started butter bites for you, I think we'd been keto for a couple months.
Yeah, like a month or two, something like that. So I didn't like him at first either, but then the more I kind of went in with keto and kind of my taste buds changed, that now it's, I eat them like no one's business, but it just takes time sometimes.
Absolutely. Auntie says, is it wrong? I'm glad my plans today changed to me not leaving the house today. Auntie, I'm right there with you. When I don't have to leave the house, I'm happy.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. We like to be here at the house. It's good.
Yes. S. Diamond wants to know your thoughts on red light therapy for pain. So here's all I can say, because I don't know a lot of the science. Dr. Berry, I believe, has actually a video where he talks about red light and kind of its positive benefits and stuff. I think it's a video. At the very least, I know he's talked about it in live streams. Red light is undeniably good for you. Now, as far as pain, I don't know the science of, how much that will or won't help, but I do know red light is really good for you. Here's what I'm going to say about red light therapy. You can spend thousands of dollars on a red light therapy machine, or you can walk outside at sunrise and stand in the sunrise for 10 to 15 minutes and get the exact same thing, because the best source of red light in the universe is the sun. And you can do that for free. And even if it's overcast, you can still go out and you still get those red wavelengths that are coming through the clouds, which is why you can actually still get sunburnt on a day when it's overcast. So I would say go out and stand in the sun in the mornings, and you will get all the benefits, and you don't have to spend thousands of dollars for a red light therapy machine. Yeah. But I think it's definitely something that is good for you, and you should absolutely be trying to get your red light, especially early in the morning, because that in the morning, it helps kick everything into gear and it gets you moving and it wakes your body up. It's good for you on so many levels, and there's science to prove all that. So, but yeah, that's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
John says eggs are a superfood, the nutritional value of an entire chicken in a nice compact package. Absolutely.
Awesome.
I eat eggs almost every day.
Yep.
Rick says, as long as they're not addicted to duck foods, not an issue if someone eats quality made whole foods. Absolutely.
Yep.
I agree. And MKP says, I prefer to eat the butter straight from the wrap, one bite at a time. Hey,
oh, yeah.
if that works, go for it. That's
Yeah.
honestly, that's what we do most of the time now, just because it's easier.
And honestly, like, that's the thing. I think the brown butter at first for me, I was like, I'm not sure, but now just butter out of a wrapper. I mean, that's my jam.
Dealey says, thanks for the tip on the morning sun. You are welcome. Cranky Carnivore Color. Ash, I was a Facebook follower of an attractive country singer even before my carnivore lifestyle, whom I just realized a couple of months ago she was/is you.
That's funny. Oh, that's funny.
That's amazing.
Hey, I'm just happy that you're on the music side of things and good taste in music, man.
Yeah. By the way, if you guys didn't know, Ash is a country singer. I think most of you probably know her. But if you didn't know, she is a country artist. I play lead guitar for her. We do all of her stuff. Ash Taylor. Go to ashtaylor.com and you will find all her social medias, her brand new music video that's out, all of her tour schedule, merch, her fan club called the Bad Ashes that you can join, all kinds of stuff. So ashtaylor.com. Go give her a follow. And she has a YouTube channel, which she would love for you guys to subscribe to if you don't already, and go watch her videos because she works real hard on the stuff she does. And she's amazing. You're
very sweet. I also don't want to brag, but Chris Cooking Nashville is also my band leader, the guitar player. I don't know if you know that. He manages me, keeps me in line. It's pretty impressive.
I'm also your cinematographer and your film director and your video editor.
Cook for me, make me coffee. It's a whole thing.
I'm your driver.
I'm your
puppy daddy. I'm everything.
He's all of it. That's awesome, though. That's so sweet. Thanks for saying something.
That's great. John says, try whipped butter bites. Just whip them in a hand mixer while cooling them in an ice bath. I wasn't a fan of regular butter bites, but I love them whipped. There you go. That's an idea.
That would be really good.
Yep. Rick says, that's right. I'm going to up my game with Chris, and his carnivore recipes will be a hit at our get-togethers. Totally. And that's a great idea. So if you're a carnivore and you're strict, you probably won't care about my recipes. But what about all the people in your life that you'd like to show that a carnivore diet could be an option for them?
There you go.
It's a great way to, as Dr. Berry would say, ninja tactics.
Ninja tactics.
Slide things in and ninja tactics. Get people over to the keto and carnivore lifestyle.
Yeah.
Auntie says, I got a heat massage chair pad. It's about the only thing that gives me any bit of pain relief lately. So Chinese drama and back chair massage it is today.
Ooh, there you go.
Listen, I ain't even been through a fracture, and I'd like your back chair massager and some TV today. That sounds great.
We are fans of it.
I would love that. Let's see. Carrie says, I have a prescription for being in the sunlight for at least 15 minutes a day. It helps. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Sherry wants to know, is red light different than UV light? During treatment of psoriasis, I had 2 versions of UV light to get rid of it. So I think UV light has several different wavelengths. Red light, I think, is just the red wavelength. So I don't know if red light and UV light would be in any way similar or interchangeable in terms of psoriasis. I do know that if you're wanting the benefits of red light, that the sun has lots of red wavelengths in it, specifically in the morning. 1, the time of day that's good for you, but 2, because it's being filtered through a thicker layer of the atmosphere, more of the red light and less of the blue light makes it through. That's why it looks red and orange in the morning, and then it looks blue when the sun gets higher.
Yeah.
Because of the way the wavelengths are filtering through the atmosphere. So you get more of the red light specifically by going out in the morning, and the time of day it's really good for you. So and look, there's Mr. Dustin putting the Stuck on Indiana link for everybody.
He's the best, man. He really is.
He is. And there's Auntie dropping your YouTube channel for everybody.
Auntie's she's the best too. Yeah. Everyone's the best.
You guys are just awesome.
They really are.
Andy says, and Ash's tour comes very close to my house in September, so we'll be there in Greenville.
Woo-woo,
yes, we're looking forward to that.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Dealey says, Ash, great songstress and guitar player.
Oh, thank you, Dealey. Yes. You're so sweet.
And Amy is laughing at Puppy Daddy.
Yep, Puppy Daddy. That's what he's my Puppy Daddy.
That's right.
Yep.
Let's see. talking about the Chinese dramas, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Holly Springer, is there a place we can watch y'all when you were on the WMC, I think the WSM TV station?
Oh, the yeah. I'm actually gonna you can go to WSMV.com. We're also gonna be posting it though here in a bit. I have links and all to it. So if you keep an eye out, I'll post all the links, but you can watch it on their website, but we will also post about it and share links here just a little bit on my socials.
Yep. Absolutely. And Rock Keto Amy says, yes, I would be interested on seeing the link to the performance on the TV station too. So yeah, we'll make sure to post that. Make sure you follow Ash's social media channels because she'll be putting that out for everybody. So Rick says UV light is highest at noon. That makes sense because that means the full spectrum would be making it through the smallest bit of the atmosphere. So Dustin says, I'm trying to find the Friday morning performance, but not finding it. Don't worry, brother. We will get that posted for everybody. So just make sure to go to ashtaylor.com. Follow her on all of her social medias, and we'll get that out there for you.
For sure.
Barbara says, yep, I'll be there in Greenville too. Can't wait.
That's awesome.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you guys.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, we are caught up on comments. We have been here for over 2.5 hours. It has been quite the sermon today, but I just want to encourage all of you to think about any insecurities you have, where those are coming from, because they're not your insecurities. They're insecurities put on you by other people. Think about where that's coming from. Cut off the source of where that flow is coming from. Do just like me, where if you possible, you don't even read your own mail. So I ain't got to ever see any of that again. It's going to be wonderful. And just take care of yourself and then work on the things you can to change it one step at a time. We are here for support for you. And ignore the craziness of the things that you have no control over, because you deserve better than that. I deserve better than that. Ash deserves better than that. And the people that are doing those kinds of things aren't worth our time. So thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget here to chriscookingnashville.com. Check out the private community. We would love to see you in there and have you be a part of our support network, us be able to support you. I've also got the free ebook if you haven't checked that out yet. And we just love every single one of you. We will be back tomorrow night for Backstage with Chris, doing those little mini cheeseburger appetizers. And Saturday is gonna be Hush Puppies. Carnivore Hush Puppies are going to come this coming Saturday. Get super excited. And if you know Wes from Highfalutin Low Carb, go tag him and tell him I'm going to do it, because I know he's been looking for a good hush puppy for a long time, and I think I've got his answer. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. We love every single one of you. You make our lives so much more blessed, and we hope we can do the same for you. Come check out all of our links. They're all in the description box down below, including the band private community as well as the ebook. And we're going to see you guys in the kitchen tomorrow night. This is Chris Cookin' Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. Guys, eat your meat, love your life, and avoid those insecurities other people put on you. And we will see you guys very soon. Have an amazing day, an amazing week, and we'll talk to you guys shortly.
Bye.
Bye.